So, I think we've finished all the housekeeping. I've babbled for an hour and a half. There's 42 folks watching on YouTube. Don't forget to leave a like on the stream, YouTube peoples. It is a very green plant goose, thanks. And for the people here on Twitch, I'm going to put a marker here. Thanks for the bit blink. As a reminder to everybody, regardless of your platform, I'm going to disappear and then reappear for a second. You know, I genuinely don't know why my OBS defaults to Discord when I go to capture something. Genuinely no idea. Anyway, I did say I would disappear for a second, and now I'm back. This is a completely crowdfunded channel. I make a living because people throw bits and gift subs and prime subs on the Twitch stream and on the YouTube side of things because people throw super chats and become YouTube members. I do make money off of passive ads on these channels, but that's like at this point wouldn't really cover my grocery bill. So I just have to say thank you to those of you who have hats next to your name and icons doing things, because that is what keeps this channel here. So thank you very much for that. If you watch the stuff on YouTube, that's great. At the end of the day, I don't need everybody to give me money, but it is nice that people do because it allows me to do this as a job. So that's what I gotta say. Now, thanks, Phones Eat First. Appreciate you. How do phones eat, and what do phones eat? Like, if I plug my phone in, is my phone eating? Thanks for reminding me to plug my phone in, by the way. My battery's kind of low because I didn't plug it in last night. We're going to be diving back into Colorbeards today. Colorbeards is probably going to end up being a pretty big fort. This was a fortress that we started 3 streams ago. This is the 4th. It still feels like a new fort to me, but it's definitely getting past that new fort smell. Blank, thanks for the 10-pack. Cheers, mate. I tried to do the thing, but it's awkward with going over the mic. Thanks, Fred. Guess what? You're on Twitch this time? Hello! I recognize your name from the YouTube. It's very rare that people have unified usernames, so makes it easy. It really does. Not only that, but that hype train just snoozed the ads. So thank you. But this fort is definitely past kind of that new fort smell. If you type in goal here on Twitch, it should tell you what we're trying to do with this fort. Basically, I want to build an arena and make beasts fight, and I want to play with dye. So I'm doing above ground farming to access as much different plant variety as possible, within reason, and focusing a lot on yarn and cloth production. I've already got a bunch of different things in production for colors. So we've got goldenrod, amber.
I didn't know Twitch is resubbing me every month. If I don't cancel it, LMAO crypt being.
Yeah, that's a thing. So if you can't afford it, please cancel it. I think you can also ask Twitch for a refund if you resub accidentally. It does take the money away from you though. So, but you know, you do you, mate. It's the prime subs that, what's the word? It's the prime subs that are one-offs. But yeah, feel free to cancel it if that's a concern or a burden. I don't want to be a burden on people. But I'm gonna click this button. But thanks for taking part in the Pipe Train Zero effort. Appreciate you. Yeah, at the end of the day, like Twitch is, it's just like any other streaming platform. I'm just like Netflix and Disney Plus. You kind of forget that you're supporting me, and then 6 months later, you're like, God damn. God damn. All right. But I appreciate it. Zero effort, seriously. So I do have a pig. Lupa X-Trooper wants to be a pig, so... Lupa X-Trooper is now a pig. And forms fleeting and rare emotional bonds with others, and doesn't often experience strong cravings or urges. Is trusting and is somewhat quarrelsome, and is bothered by this since she values friendship. She has an active sense of humor, and she is slow to anger, and tends to be a little tight with resources when working on projects. Just Lupa? Okay. Lupa, the piggy. Your pet of Lytast. See what I can find out about Lytast. It's like Lytast's dead. No. Lytast wants excitement and martial training. And wants to fight. I'm sensing a pattern here. Your pig friend Lupa, obviously. She likes to take it easy, and she is not particularly interested in what others think of her. She is currently more careless, or shameless, and she occasionally can lose focus on the matter at hand. As an FYI to people here in chat, once again, there is still a hype train going on. It needs another 3 subscriptions, or $15 in bits to level up. Primes do count towards that. And also, you should be able to redeem the Name-A-Thing, because the Name-A-Thing thing should be up, right? Just scanning through to make sure nobody else claimed it. But Name-A-Thing thing should be up. As for Dwarves in the Fort, currently we have... I don't know why I'm doing this. Profession. We've got Schmitty Scent, which is actually a really funny name when I think about it. Zero Effort. Clother or sewer. So because it's after your mom, I presume Lady Dwarf, right? Metroid, some otters. We've got Bismuth. We've got Cricket. We've got Sweaty Poet, who's still funny to me. We've got Sage. We've got Neezer. We've got Sweaty Jr., Otter Jr., the son of Otter and son of Sweaty, or daughter of Sweaty, I think. And thanks for the hype train, chat, with 15 subscriptions and $5.01. Mina, Moreb, Dulkin. Also, if you hear your name being shouted out about a dwarf, let me know and I could check in on them. We've got Ankh. We've got Gig. We've got Romanoid. We've got Blazin, Snail, and Arga Manon. We've got Elf Poles. Server Lord. Tome the Turkey. And Tiny, of course. I did name the starting 7 Chroma and High Chroma, so they have specific titles. So if you see those titles, that's what's up with that. We've got Krav and Zachris, and that's everybody. If I go down to the bottom here and I type in Chroma, or Chromite rather, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the starting 7 alive. So that's always fun. You said Weaver or Clother? How about you deal the Weaver? Does that work? Zero Effort? I'm just gotta get those YouTube subs chugging. I mean, YouTube just has to recommend my videos again. I just need to get a big video out that does well. And it's been a while since I've gotten a big video out, and it's been a while since I've gotten a big video out that's done well. I mean, I would say the last big video I did that truly brought a lot of growth to the channel was the Gremlin video, so it's been a while. The water video did okay, and the vampire video did okay out the gate and then slowed down quickly. But they've both done all right. I would call those, like, fine. Like, not a success, but not, like, a failure. And then the 2 videos I've done since then, one was a financial failure, which did great for views, and then the other was, like, just completely flopped. Like, it's a complete waste of time, practically. So, the next video I get out has to do well. Well, it doesn't have to do well. It would be nice if it did well. Potpourri died, and this dwarf was uneasy seeing them dead, which is unfortunate. Graza. I don't know actually how to pronounce that, Zero. Is often sad and dejected, and is given to flights of fancy to the point of distraction. She generally acts with a narrow focus on the current activity, and she doesn't seek out excitement. She is often cheerful, and she tends to think before acting. She tends to not reveal personal information, and she can handle stress. She often acts with compassion, and she tends to avoid crowds. She doesn't often experience strong cravings or urges, and sometimes acts with little determination and confidence, and is not particularly interested in what others think of her. She idly chews her lips when she's bored, and she needs alcohol to get through the working day, and does not mind being outdoors, at least for a time. She dreams of making a great discovery. Oh, that's interesting. Personally finds the quest for knowledge to be very important. Let's just go, library. Well, I'll just put this in your name, because this should be a scholar at some point. She finds the quest for knowledge to be of the highest value and doesn't care about nature one way or another. She likes gypsum and plaster, as well as trifle pewter and emerald and great horned owl bone, figurines and dogs for their loyalty. I almost read that as figurines for their loyalty. And the words of the early dress and the sound of the iron mines, and when possible, prefers to consume yellow bullhead and fisherberry wine. And she's a member of the Cobalt Fellowship and the Mountain of Dyes. How's it going? I wish I slept better last night due to having to listen to construction until almost midnight. But the good news is they're currently, if not done at this point, bolting together like the frames to rebuild the bike lanes, which means the only thing they have to do after like pouring concrete one more time is painting the road again. So I'm happy about that. Why aren't yours? I don't have any, so I guess they all abandoned me. Yeah, but like, you know, when a portion of, thankfully not a majority, but when a portion of your income is tied to it, it gets stressful, that's all. Alice. Oh, that's funny. Cricket. It's kind of like Ledoran saying that they put Jupiter Hell Classic on their spouse's husbands? Steam Deck, and has been playing it a whole bunch now. Goose. You're in the YouTube chat a whole lot. You want me to name it Turkey Goose? Just because I think that would be funny? Do you want a boy goose? Do you want a boy turkey or a lady turkey? Do you want a gobbler or a hen? I just want a goose, like just a turkey walking around making goose sounds. It's just the image in my head. You've been watching waiting a month for naming a dwarf after her? Well, there you go. Happy to help. Hopefully she doesn't, like, get eviscerated by a goblin. Because then I'll feel kind of bad after that. But... Salvite, thank you very much for that Prime sub for a second month. Welcome back. Gobbler Goose has a good ring to it. Gobble Goose. Gobble Gobble Goose. I mean, I've got lots of geese. I mean, gobblers. Yes. Although I could give you one of the named... Yeah, I'll give you one of the named ones so I don't accidentally slaughter you. Turkey Gobbler, the goose, who's the pet of Gig. That's almost funnier. You belong to my mayor. You're the mayor's pet turkey. How old is this turkey? Hold on. Three years old. How long do turkeys live? Yeah, it's a bit concentrated in there, isn't it? We should probably like free up some space in the turkey, like, hold, I don't know, cellar. This turkey likes to brawl, is pleased by his own appearance and talents, doesn't mind a little tumult and discord in day-to-day living, acts with little determination and confidence, is assertive, and doesn't seek out excitement. He just fights. This is the fight turkey. He has no combat skills or social skills, so it's definitely It's definitely a turkey. I mean, or just like bird. Speaking of birds, I live on the ocean. There's seagulls everywhere. I grew up in the country. I'm used to baby birds. Baby birds are very dumb. I think baby seagulls might actually be the dumbest birds I've ever, with the exception of maybe like emus. I think baby seagulls might be the dumbest birds I've ever encountered. Like, genuinely? Watching, like, a baby seagull walk in and out of traffic while mom seagull sits on top of a sign and just goes cluck, 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 cluck. The baby seagull is like, what are you doing, moron? That, very funny. To me, anyway. So the fortress itself is on this very big sheer cliff, and it's this giant open space, right? Let me just make sure that my recording feed is going. Haha, it is. So it's this giant open space, right? Up here is my dyeing industry where we're making fancy colored wools. We've also got a variety, or a pile, I guess, maybe, of cloth, although most of these jobs are currently paused because we've been trying to catch up on other unrelated things. If I go up a little bit, there's this awesome gorge, and we're planning on building a big bridge across, because over here in this little curve, I want to build an arena, probably starting around this layer, and it'll be a big kind of open dome thing in the side of this hill. And I'm thinking we'll put like viewing spaces over here, and we're going to make Forgotten Beasts fight. I'm probably going to be playing this fort for a month, actually. I've been kind of thinking about it recently, going, uh-oh, this is going to end up being a really long fort in it. We are situated somewhere where there are neighbors, but due to the issues with armies getting stuck outside of your fort, I'm a little scared to go attacking things. So these goblins will probably attack, or I think these are goblins. No, these are destroyed dwarven places that have been re-inhabited by dwarves. I thought those were inhabited by goblins. But anyway, there are goblins over here, and they'll probably attack me eventually. And these goblins over here will also probably attack me eventually. So today I probably should focus a little bit, because they're actively attacking the rest of my faction, which is why. I should probably be working on defenses today. Yeah, I really like this world map. I stuck it on the DF save sharing room, so if you want to go take a look at it, you can. Are we repopulating those places? Oh, nope, some religious leader got... Okay. Artifact is known to be there, and a religious leader got appointed there. So that's that. It's looking like we've got some major drop-off things. Are we in a burrow at the moment? It has been a week, so I gotta check in. There's one of like 300 cancellations there. Right here. I'm just gonna do this real quick. Are we in a burrow? No. Well, I don't know why that's getting canceled so much then. Merchants have just arrived. It's mid-autumn. I think I've traded. Yes, I have. I need to make a craft store skilled, so that's priority number 1. Like I said, that's the kind of big open crafting area. If I go up, that's all that's if you go up. If you go down, then there's this dining hall, this tiny prison with a vampire in it. Mistum the vampire. Mistum is not coming out of prison anytime soon. I might find a use for Mistum at some point, but for right now, Mistum lives there. Over here is my artifact hold, which I'm quite proud of, actually. I quite like this design, because down in here... Oops, I should probably get rid of these. Down in here, I have a pressure plate system that'll lock if a stranger trips it, and I've got a locked door that's unlocked with this lever. So, very, very happy for that. I think it looks pretty cool. Your PC is out of commission, but you'll have to remember that. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just going to stay there. We've got this, which is kind of my anything goes temple. We've got an appointed temple over here, the Shrine of Taxing, which is to the God of Wealth, which I think is really funny that it's called the Shrine of Taxing. Over here we have another religion to the God of Wealth. We've got 2 different gods of wealth temples and denominations in this faction that are popular. So this is the other one, and then this is the other one. So we've kind of got like this open design. These are the 3 dwarves that have died. They each got a coffin and a tombstone, which think looks quite nice. And then up here is most of the fort itself. What I've been doing a lot recently is like trying to make these dwarves happier because we were having some pretty bad mood issues due to a dead body getting left somewhere for too long. And a lot of the dwarves seeing it for a bit. And that was bad. So dwarves' moods got pretty bad. We actually had like 50-something people in the like, yo, we're about to get real mad kind of area. So I was like, all right, got to fix that. So we kind of did that. And now I'm slowly ramping up construction again. Also, hi, Jesus in YouTube chat. How are you? You bought and downloaded the game, played the tutorial, and made a pile stock, made one bed, and gave up. I would recommend watching my getting started guide if you want a bit more of a descriptive get-go. Dwarf Fortress is a game that you kind of need to put a good few hours into to get much out of it, because it can be a lot, especially initially. But I like to think that it's worth the effort, and chat can be helpful too. I mean, there's wells where they clean themselves, right? But yeah, I guess a bathtub would kind of affect that. Or like maybe not a bathtub, but like a bathhouse kind of deal, you know? See how my mayor's doing. But yeah, I would honestly say Black Fiend. I have a video which is just it's like 25 minutes long, which is just a basic getting started guide for Dwarf Fortress that possibly could help. What's your native language? If I can ask. I mean, translating Dwarf Fortress is virtually impossible. It's kind of like Caves of Cut in that regard. But I know that there's a couple partial translations on the workshop, but you're never going to get a full translation. Is that not a public waterfall? I mean, okay, so bathing and waterfalls are two different things, right? Arabic, Hebrew, English is 3. Okay, yeah, I don't know then. I know that there's like a Portuguese partial translation on the workshop, which is basically just like all of this text will still be in English, but like door is in Portuguese. There's because the language in the game is very heavily tied into the generation of everything. Yes, mist still makes dwarves happy. They need to physically walk through the mist for them to get it. And the happy thought that they get is relieved after being near a waterfall. Okay, so I was making bedrooms. Yes, that's exactly what I was doing. I'm just going to queue up a bunch of bedroom constructions. But yeah, if they don't, like, quite literally occupy the same tile as the falling water, you're not going to get any happy thoughts. And was relieved after being near a waterfall is the thought that you want to look for. Yeah, I don't know. Having English as my first language and learned this game, I feel like the hardest part would just be trying to actually get tutorialization through, because like all the wikis are maintained in English. So I know that there's a very active Russian one. So if you speak Russian, there's that. Or at least historically it's been active. I don't know how active it is these days, but like basically just like a Russian mirror of the wiki, but I don't know. I'm in the English department, so chat can maybe help. If you have questions, we can do our best to answer. But outside of that, I don't know what I can do. Because you're not going to find a translation for this game. Petition, yep, it's Craftsdwarf shop. It's okay, we got months. I need to get these bedrooms done first. That's priority number 1. Or our Craftsdwarf's Guild is the petition. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, if somebody feels that they need a in-game translation to play it, then there's literally nothing I can do. So you can help with Italian. Hell yeah. You may have been here earlier, but when I was hiking with my dad, Mesa Music, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, my dad was wearing a Ferrari hat that I bought him a couple years ago because he likes the concept of Ferrari. Some guy randomly started shouting at us in Italian from a couple hundred meters away. And then when he caught up to us was just like, yeah, I'm going to Monza. And I'm just shocked that we ran into a Tifosi in the wild. Because that's never happened to me before. I thought my phone was vibrating, but it's the construction. Well, it's not... Okay, so you want to know are you talking about the wiki freeways, or are you talking about, like, in-game? Because Dwarf Fortress is virtually not translatable. The developer of Caves of Cud went on I want to say tirade, but I don't think that's actually accurate. He went on a ramble, is probably a better way of putting it, on Blue Sky? This might have actually been Twitter. This might have been a while ago. About people asking for translations specifically to, like, simplified Chinese for Caves of Cud. When language is tied to generation of procedural systems, translating the game almost requires a rewrite of the entire system. And all of Dwarf Fortress's important verbiage is tied to its generation. So changing the words in game of things and thoughts and like anything in this screen basically requires a rewrite of the entire code base. So it would be a humongous undertaking and also a massive additional workload to maintain. So that's why you're never going to get that. It doesn't matter if, like, partial translations are possible because mods can already do that. If you want to do partial translations, do that. Like, translate the game. Go in and work on the mods that are already existing. Because the description text and stuff for static items can already be edited. So you can make partial translations. However, partial translations are the fastest way to get negative reviews on Steam when it comes to translating, because people read that it supports a language, and if it's a partial translation, they get immediately very angry that it's not a complete full translation. It's one of those really tricky things where, man, it would be lovely to have full translations for Dwarf Fortress, but, like, the amount of work it would take, I don't personally think it would be worth it in the long run. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, there's examples of, like, you know, back in the day, RimWorld, I don't know if they've gotten any better, but RimWorld had a whole bunch of translations that were just straight up done by fans, and they were all horrible. Especially, like, the Finnish one. I remember my friend Bellinair from Finland just, like, basically laughing at it. But, like, is that better than nothing? I don't know. Maybe. I do recall seeing pretty bad reviews for that game from time to time that were like, the, like, insert language here translation is bad and should be deleted. But that's a much bigger game that gets a lot more reviews that could weather that. I don't know how well Dwarf Fortress could weather that if they started getting negative reviews over partial translations. So I don't know. But that would still be a pretty seismic shift, or like that would still be a pretty large undertaking to complete, just in like a dev time perspective, though. Kaiju-san. But like, the best you could do would be partial translations, and I don't think there will ever be an official one, just purely because, like, it's like badly supporting an OS, you know? If you like advertise a Mac version, but it runs like shit, that'll get you a bunch of negative reviews. It's like if a game states that it supports multiple languages, but the language support is incomplete and not good, that will get you a negative response. I mean, having 170 hours in Dwarf Fort means that you're one of us. New, sure, certainly, but that's not a fair contest, and never has been. This is going to be a Craftsdwarf's Guild, so I need to wait for them to finish doing a bunch of smoothing up here. And then we're going to start digging. I mean, yeah, that's a lot of time in 2 months. That might actually be more time than I run the game. I run Dwarf Fortress about 34 hours a week, maybe 40. 40 on a long week, but it's usually around 34 hours of streaming. So 34 to 40 hours of streaming. So if I'm doing more than that, it's because I'm recording for a video. It's a lot of dwarf smoothing. We got a lot of dwarves, and I'm trying to just satisfy crafting needs and such right now. So besides, smoothing doesn't have like a quality indicator. I don't need to be specific about it. Which one was it? Echo, if I can ask. Valium, thank you very much for the 5th month with Prime. Jack, can I get a round of beers for that? Appreciate you. College season is about to start again. Do you teach? Jesus? I know that that's kind of an oxymoron question, but I do mean that sincerely. Or a silly question, right? The most complex game ever made. Oh, really? Oh, okay. No, sure. Sure. I prefer the most convincing simulation ever made than the most complex game ever made, because I personally feel that the most complex game ever made is probably like Guy Gitsby's War in the East, but you know. He preached. Yeah, I'm asking the person behind the character, okay? Sheesh. I like the idea of Jesus being a high school physics teacher. Studying to become a theology professor. You know what? Username checks out. Ask me again in a year and I'll answer you, and the answer may be yes. I mean, I feel like if you're studying to become a theology professor, that means one of two things is going to happen. You're going to work at Starbucks and be unemployed, or be a teacher. So good luck. Like, genuinely good luck. Also, username checks out. Let there be light that refracts. Let there be light that breaks quantum physics. Your favorite game is RainWorld, which is the most complex ecosystem ever made? I beg to differ. I think the most complex ecosystem ever made is Earth. Probably, at least that we're aware of, and it's probably like actually the coral reefs or something. But that is a neat simulation of an ecosystem. I do wonder though, like what? Because to me, there's a difference between complexity and convincingness. Like to me, Dwarf Fortress is just one of the most convincing simulations of a fantasy world I've ever played. I don't know if it's necessarily the most complex video game ever made, or the most complex game ever made. Also, a lot of those videos are made by people who just read a lot of Wikipedia pages and don't actually play the game very much. So whenever I watch them, I'm always like, nope, wrong, disagree. But that's also because I'm an obsessive weirdo who, like, you know, plays too much of the game. In reality, I just like that people talk about it. I tried Eco. I haven't, but I've watched a bunch of it. That's actually a very complex, weird game. Or like Stationeers. I mean, if you've learned how magma works in 160 hours, you're doing pretty okay, actually. Have you made soap yet? The problem with Dwarf Fortress is a lot of the, like, things that would be very simple tasks in most games are obtuse in Dwarf Fortress, partially because of its age and its design. It's got nothing to do with how smart or not smart you are. It's got everything to do with, like, how quickly can you pick up video game systems, and some people are really good at that and some people aren't. And most of that just kind of comes with experience, right? Like, it's easier to learn the second grand strategy game that you learn than the first. So if you've played a lot of games like this, it's a lot easier. I'm making a guild hall right now, which was requested by my dwarves. I'm making a Craftsdwarf's guild. And the way that this works is I have to make sure that it has enough value to satisfy the request. So when I click on this to make it, because it's the Craftsdwarf's guild that they asked for, this one obviously wouldn't be the one, and this one wouldn't be the one because there's no guild established, but this one has an established guild and I haven't built it yet. So if I click that, I can go here, and there's these 3 buttons, which specify only members of the guild can visit, so it limits who can go in, and then citizens can visit, or citizens and people that are staying here, like poets or whatever, and then anybody. I'm just going to set this one to only members of the guild can visit. And I need to get the value of it up to 2,000, so I just need to construct stuff in it. There's always a farmer's guild and you can't stand those? Why? You get higher food output. Alana Wu, if you have issues with too many of a particular guild hall, you want to know a little trick? They only request a guild hall when they have 10 people of that job, which means your faction probably has a lot of farmers. And if you set everybody to farm in your fort, it's likely everybody will get farming related tasks, and they're more likely to make a guild hall. If you make a guild hall, and I'll use this one as an example because I'm building it, and you set it to public, citizens only, and you do that before you make a tavern, before you make your first temple, and you could also make it as a dining hall, and then set it to citizens only, and put a bunch of food in there. And you do that first. Maybe you make a weaponsmith's guild, or an engraver's guild, or something else. Then everybody in your fort, from the very beginning of the fort, will passively gain that skill. And then, when 5 farmers show up in the next migrant wave, you're not going to immediately get a farmer's guild because 80% of your fortress are already weaponsmiths or armorsmiths, instead of just passively having a lot of different farmers. So you don't need to make the guild hall right away. It doesn't even need to match the value. It only needs to match the value if the guild is officially formed. But it still functions as a guild hall if there's no guild there. You just need one dwarf with some skill in that thing. So if you start a new fort and you prepare carefully and you go in with one novice armorsmith and you make an armorsmith's guild as a guild at the very start, that's a, what's it called? Like a dining hall. They'll socialize in there if you allow all citizens to visit. They'll eat there, they'll drink there, and that one novice weaponsmith or armorsmith will immediately start teaching that. And if you go in with a bunch of teaching skill and they have weaponsmithing, everybody else in that room will learn faster. So basically what you need to do is if you want to avoid guild halls that you don't want, specialize your fort in other guild halls early on. Also, could someone clip that? Please, thanks. Okay, thanks, bye. I get to know how to play Dwarf Fortress when someone said, treat dwarves like real people. After that, your forts live longer and healthier. I think, like, treat dwarves like people and assume that they're imperfect and, like, impossible to 100% satisfy. Okay, so we just got another migrant wave. Treat dwarves like real people and presume that they're imperfect beings. But also, on top of that, don't worry about, like, following every single dwarf, because, like, that's not possible. Doesn't matter how many hours you put into this game, that is just straight up not possible. What are we getting from next round here? We've got a pet duckling named Domas. I would too. If I ever get a pet duck, which I won't, I will name it Domas. It's very happy and optimistic. Dreams of mastering a skill. It does not really value skills related to fighting. How about you? Dreams of crafting masterwork someday. He respects the development of his skill. Feels it's important to conceal emotions and refrain from complaining. Somewhat quarrelsome. Bothered by this because he values family. There's the quacker. What's quacking, Dwarf? Ah, you're bringing your wife too. That's lovely. I'm getting a lot of doctors in this fort. Personally finds those that engage in trade and commerce to be fairly disgusting. Sure. Yes, actually. Because the number of times I tab out and clip things myself when you're not here, Boom Boom, is most of the time. Just so that I can, like, I don't really care if the clips get views. None of my clips go viral, but it would be, it's useful for making shorts. Physical confrontations, he works with not just respect martial prowess. This dwarf might be good in the military, actually. How about your wife? Flight's a fancy quirler, impatient. Active pump operator. Values loyalty. They'll be at the bottom, probably. Because they're the most recent to arrive. Tough, high willpower, kinesthetic, sense. Dreams of seeing the great natural places of the world. Ah. Could be considered rude. You're also bringing your husband, who's also a peasant. Your mom's here. Oh, Jesus, this is a giant family again. Here comes your husband. He's 21 years old and looks like he's 170. Wow. Low stamina and clumsy. It's behind me. I run it at about 60 FPS on most forts. Because otherwise, I find it moves a little bit too fast for me to communicate what's happening in a lot of cases. Like, I can follow it up to, like, I don't know, around 100 FPS. Like, when I'm playing on my own time, if I have to record something, I run it at 110 FPS usually for the early game, and then I slow it down to about 80. Your newest fort, the expedition leader, died on day 1. The tree fought back. You want to know why that happens? Because trees support other trees. So if you're clear cutting in a very dense forest, if a tree falls and there's another tree below it, it'll just go straight down. And then when you chop down the tree that's supporting it, the first tree explodes. So normally what happens when you chop down a tree is the tree falls away, right? If the tree explodes, then it goes straight down and a falling log can kill a dwarf. So if you're in very dense forest, select a couple trees, don't clear cut. Thank you. Boom, boom. Don't doctors synergize with discipline? Possibly. I don't actually have a hospital right now, which means if we actually get a bunch of injuries, I'm in a lot of trouble because I have no consistent water source right now. Which means I need to find the aquifer on this map because there's apparently an aquifer and I haven't found it yet. Strategic boots, you're a citizen. I mean, this dwarf would probably be pretty good in the military, actually. Although my military is pretty informal at the moment. I got one decked out steel squad and then everything else is like just, I'm filling them out slowly. I could just scroll to the bottom of this. I'm in an ad break at the moment, so... You know what? Sure. I'll throw that dwarf and her husband into it. I just want them to be able to spend time together. Yeah, I mean, this fort's on year 4, and it's been pretty peaceful so far, and I'm just kind of... Like, we had a were creature arrive. We had, like, some scouts, but that's pretty much it. So it's been pretty chill thus far. So I'm just kind of crossing my fingers and hoping it stays that way. At least for a little bit longer. Is this a pet sheep? Nope, stray lamb. And a bunny! Well, that's good. I can kill that. You're a milker and you're also bringing your spouse, who's an administrator. Look at that. Fact-oriented. This would probably be a good doctor, actually. Bunny, more like dead! Don't harm the bunny. They're useless. Your favorite animals are bunnies? That's okay. I will still kill them. There are 2 types of animals I will kill automatically upon arrival, and that's bunnies and cavies, because they don't produce anything of value. They're both grazing, so they need to graze in pastures, which is where my sheep are going right now. And bunnies are grazers, And when you slaughter a bunny, you get a skull. You don't get meat, you don't get leather, you don't get anything. So because of that, I don't want to keep them in my fort. They don't provide any material benefit to the fort whatsoever. Outside of maybe dwarves who like them could have them as pets, but then they take up all my field space. So I would rather slaughter them on site. You want to be the bunny? No. I'm not going to slaughter you, so that would be a waste of your points. They're cute. That's okay. So are sheep. How do I fix traumatized kids? Don't traumatize them. Look at what their needs are and try and, like, accommodate for it. Don't make them do things that are traumatizing and then overcompensate with positive moods. But, like, if they're already, like, tantruming, you're good luck. What, sheep? Henyak? Sheep produce almost all of my clothing right now in the game, and also milk, and meat, and leather. If you expel their parents, then the kids will leave. If their parents are still around, freeways. I don't have any spears, but I have swords. Are swords okay? If swords are okay, we could do that. That's a skill issue, sour grapes. I have to try so hard to make that happen. Like, you have to... As far as I'm concerned, you have to do that intentionally. Or at least, for me to make that happen, I have to do that. And I have to willingly play the game the opposite of the way that I normally play it to make that happen. There is therapy in Dwarf Fortress. Your mayor is your therapist. Your queen is your therapist. Every religious leader you have is a therapist. She is inattentive to detail in her own work, and she is brave in the face of imminent danger. She is not particularly interested in what others think of her. Does that work for you, Pilot? Cool. She is not particularly interested in what others think of her, and she tends to be passive in discussions. She tends to assume that the worst of two outcomes will be the one that comes to pass, and she is moved by art and natural beauty. She is troubled by this, since she dislikes the natural world. She thinks she's fairly important in the grand scheme of things, and she is somewhat, and she can somewhat act without deliberation. She can sometimes act? Where am I reading? She can sometimes act without deliberation. I see where I'm screwing this up. She has little interest in joking around and mutters under her breath when she's bored. She needs alcohol to get through the working day. She dreams of mastering a skill and personally sees no value in holding back complaints and concealing emotions and values sacrifice. She likes granite and fine pewter as well as yellow diamond and wagon wood. Neat. The color glass and plant and cardinal tooth, as well as the color spruce and shields and horses for their strength. Bush tit men for their twittering. Groups. Oh. Gross. And the sound of the fabulous euphoria, and when possible, prefers to consume whip wine and hates mussels. She's a huge family. Huge family. But in regards to therapy, I can't tell if you're joking. But this is my mayor, Gig. You see, empathy while being yelled at by an unhappy citizen. Empathy while being cried on by an unhappy citizen. Proud after being reelected. Pleasure after being there to find door. Blah-blah-blah-blah-blah. Empathy after discussing an acquaintance's problems. These are all complaints being fielded by dwarves. So this is a dwarf that complained recently. Euphoric due to inebriate. Content after putting on a superior item. Okay, you haven't actually attended the meeting yet. I need them to attend the meeting. Right now they're following the mayor with their fancy dyed clothing. Satisfied after crying on somebody in charge. That is therapy in Dwarf. So your baron would do that if you have a baron. Your mayor will do that if you have a mayor. When I say religious leaders, I mean like if you make a temple and assign like a holy person to it, like this is the holy tax. If you give them an office, they're more effective at this, but you don't need to do that. Empathy while being yelled at by an unhappy citizen. Empathy while being cried on by an unhappy citizen. Empathy discussing an acquaintance's problems. Same thing. The higher ranking the official, the better they are at their job. So this is why barons and having nobles in your fort is a good thing. And when people go on about nobles being annoying, and then complain about their dwarves being so upset, well, skill issue. If your noble is happy and functional and has all their needs satisfied, then they are better at acting as your fortress therapist. I've said this many times before, but I genuinely believe that a lot of the memes that are attached to Dwarf Fortress make the player base worse at the game and think the game is buggier than it is. I mean, the game has bugs. I'm not going to say it doesn't. It absolutely has bugs. But, like, there are things in this game that are just, like, eviscerated by the community through memes that are actually, like, very helpful little mechanics that if people partook in, I guess, or paid attention to, they would realize that there's a lot of features in this game that are already there. They just aren't utilizing them. It's not exactly easy to figure out. Sure, but the memes ain't helping. And a lot of the memes, like, predate those creatures becoming useful. As an example, like, you know the whole, like, oh, you have a baron that has demands, kill it kind of jokes that people make. That's because when barons were first added, like, when those noble roles and, like, demands and stuff were first added, they didn't do anything. And those memes get reposted and perpetuated. And people parrot them as fact, when in reality, like, you're actively just making the game harder for yourself now if you're mean to your baron. I mean, that's a playstyle, and I respect it. And if you want to do that, that is totally cool. Play the game that way. I'm not saying you can't. But, like, just realize that, like, we have therapists. We've had them for years. So it's a two-part problem, I guess. It's part like people reposting inaccurate information, and it's part like the game not communicating it clearly. So, which is why I try to communicate it clearly when it comes up. You know? Will they kick you in the ass? Well, if your barons are members of your fort and they're in here and they don't have an office, they won't do that job of taking care of your dwarves, right? So just give them an office. Even if it's like a low value office, give them an office. Even if it's just like a chair that's still like yellow or red, just give them something and assign it to them, because then they'll start doing their duties, which is keeping your fortress happy. Oh, shit. I'm not using malachite blocks, I'm using malachite. Oh, do I not have any blocks? Oh, I guess I just don't have any malachite blocks. I should probably unforbid those jobs. Let's just say do 2 on that one. I'm just trying to get this masonry industry, like, flourishing is all I'm really trying to do. I mean, you live in human capitalist society. These dwarves live in utopian, dwarven, anarcho-communist society with royalty, whatever that term is. So it would make sense why you talking to your manager in human world would be different than talking to a dwarven manager in dwarf world. That's just logic to me. were fucking physics equations, what version of the wiki were you looking at? And also, I'm not going to be mean to you, but you need to realize how old this game is. Because if you go to the wiki, right, and you go to the Fortress mode tutorial, right, and you're set to 28D, yeah, you're going to be seeing this because you're set to 28D. If you go here, get off of Reddit, go to a real website like the Dwarf Fortress wiki. If you go to here and you scroll down, similar things, right? If you go to version 52.03, you'll get much more modern looking references. You need to realize that this game is 20-something years old. And for a very long time, why am I blanking on where the... I'm super duper duper blanking on... Well, I need to turn that on anyway. Where the hell is the graphics? Like, enable and disable. Is it just under video? Oh, it's right here. Duh. Look like this, but more obtuse. So, let me tell you this. Remember that many of us, myself included, have been playing this game for a very long time. And if you say things like, this game is, like, the guides are fucking physics equations, and if that's what people consider a guide, then I fear them. I can't tell if you're trying to be funny, but I do find that very disrespectful to a game and community that's very helpful that I really like. So, I don't know. Maybe don't all caps with a new line every time you type, and maybe realize that, like, we're here to help, and if you want help, cool. And if you're just gonna go mock the people who try and help you, you're just kind of being rude. That's all. And remember how I said, like, type a line and then press enter? You're just spamming my chat, mate. Galetti is correct, yes. I'm also skimming the YouTube chat now. The only thing I said was just stop type. You have 500 characters per post. You don't need to type, I'm sorry, O-face, no, I didn't mean, no, they all in separate lines. Just type like a human being who isn't a squealing child writhing on the ground. We're all adults here, I think. Anyway. Is there no way to find someone innocent under Dwarven justice? I mean, everybody's convicted crimes in the past. Being an adult is boring? Sure, but it also makes my chat obnoxious. When everybody's children. When am I starting 7? Ankh has been possessed and is going into a strange mood. And now I need a minor skill. Well, that's expected. Where'd you go? There you are. And immediately claims a stoneworker shop. What you going for, Dwarf? For me, I like it when my chat's readable, and I like it when there's conversation. Because to me, that makes this an enjoyable environment for everybody. So I would rather you put 5 lines of text in one post than post 15 times. That's all. Don't ever look up EVE Online tutorials. Yeah, you know, when people talk about, like, the most complex simulation ever made, I do sometimes, like, squint and look at EVE Online and go, It's all good. Don't worry about it. I'm kind of being a dick. It's actually the reality. Oh, you got everything you... Wow, that was fast. Limestone, rough sardonyxes, 2 pieces of wood, stray sheep bone, and... trillion cut milk opals. Coodly doodly. EVE Online is one of those games where it's like, I don't want to put the time in. Like, there was a point in my life where I really wanted to get into EVE Online, and I'm actually very happy in hindsight that I didn't. No, that hasn't gotten up and running yet. Well, I'll just use a bunch of limestone. Just get this paved. I'll leave some space for malachite, but it's going to take a little bit for that workshop to be up and running again. And it just became way too much. Yeah, I mean, I had a friend who played a lot of EVE for a while, and there was one point when he was playing Trackmania, and I was playing Trackmania with him, and then he's like, oop, gotta undock. I was like, what? We're playing Trackmania. He goes, no, I'm playing EVE Online. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm logged into 12 accounts right now. I'm like, excuse me? Like, I beg your pardon, sir. You're in how many? So that's kind of my mental image of EVE Online. He was at war with something and was just like waiting to be called. Spent 6 years on that game, you ain't going back. I mean, that's me in League of Legends, right? I mean, I think every game is a specific kind of person, really. I mean, Dwarf Fortress is a specific kind of person. Like, I know so many people who call this game too much, or rather, I've seen so many people tell me that this game is too much and that they'll never get into it, and they, like, respect it from a distance, and, you know, that's me with EVE, right? Like, I'm fascinated by the idea of EVE Online. I'm glad I don't play it. There's a fruit fly in front of my face. Why the fuck would I play Deadlock? Do I look like I hate myself? I mean, actually, I probably do. Do I look like I hate myself and want to waste all of my time? And get mad while I'm doing it? Okay, maybe most of those are true. Except for the last one. Yeah, no, I'm good. Hard pass on Deadlock. Could not be less interested in a video game. It was okay to learn DF, I feel. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, once you've learned one complicated game and you kind of understand how that works, the next one's easy. Alarm clock where missions are exactly that. You get up at 2 a.m. do a bat. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, fuck that. Fuck all of that. Ankh, the Chromite, who's one of my starting 7 dwarves, has created Kuditir Dusum Edud, a limestone cabinet, and offers it to the Mountain of Dye. What should I do with... Ankh, are you in the chat? What should I do with this cabinet that your dwarf just made? Whoops. Whoops. There you are. You're a professional organizer, actually, which is kind of neat. It is a limestone cabinet. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with baguette-cut milk opals and encircled with bands of point-cut sardonyxes and sheep bone. This object is adorned with hanging rings of plumwood. On the item is an image of Slick Loot, the work of obeying. The limestone cabinet... Oh, that's this. In limestone. On the item is an image of dwarves in oak. The dwarves are traveling. The artwork relates to the foundation of Colorbeard by the Mountain of Dyes of the strategic boots in the early spring of 300. I see, here's the thing. Like, I know what I like and I know what I don't like, and I've played video games long enough to know what causes dark patterns in me, and I just don't even play those games. Like, there was a very brief window where, like, I looked at Helldivers and I was like, oh, this seems neat. I could get into this. And then I realized it had, like, a battle pass. I know that it's, like, not the way actual battle passes work in a lot of multiplayer games and free-to-play stuff, but it has battle pass and microtransactions. I'm like, yeah, no, nope, not worth it. I know what that'll do to me. I won't even do it. I see it and I go, nope, been there before. It's kind of like, for me at this point, it's like saying no to cigarettes or gambling. It's like, somebody goes to hand me a cigarette and I go, no, I will smoke the rest of that pack. And then want to go buy cigarettes. So no, I will not smoke that one cigarette you hand to me, because I will beat you up and take the rest of them. I feel like that's something that you need to Come to terms with yourself, I guess. I think I'm going to put it in his office. That dwarf gets to keep that. It's going to be his filing cabinet. You can't even play competitive shooter games anymore. You get way too frustrated and angry when you're not winning. I just get bored. I used to get frustrated and angry. These days I just kind of get bored. Like, honestly, it's not fun. It's just kind of exhausting and a little boring. Now you only smoke cigarettes at weddings. You should just smoke cigars at weddings. Like, commit. If you're gonna only do it once in a while, like commit to the exceptionally bad for you one. I should slaughter a shit ton of turkeys. There is nothing cool about smoking a cigar. It's just an artificial cold for the next 4 days. But if you're going to only smoke once in a while, you might as well go whole hog. You know, ironically, I went to a couple hookah bars before the pandemic. And I haven't been to one since the pandemic. Let's just keep some doors. We'll do 20 whenever there's less than 10, and we'll just check it once a month. Whenever we have less than 10 doors around. Oh, totally. Yeah. Enemy. Absolutely. I mean, you're sharing a smoking apparatus. Less than hookah bars, but a couple times years ago, I used to go to it was like just a weed lounge, and you give them a $10 down deposit, and they give you a torch, and then you just go up to their counter and you buy a nugget of weed, and then you walk into the off-site area, which is basically just somebody's living room that's attached with a door, and then they just have Die Hard 2 playing 24/7, 365. Like, I don't think they had any other movies. I think it was always just Die Hard 2, which is fine. I like Die Hard 2. And all these dwarves are now watching crafting demonstrations because this is now satisfied. It's a high enough value. You just hang out for 30 minutes and you leave. I missed that place. It closed a while ago. You don't watch live action movies? I don't really watch movies, to be fair, but Die Hard 2 is like the most suburban dad movie pick to have in a place like that, though. Drugs are bad? Okay. I know. What of it? It doesn't matter if they're bad if I like them. Or rather, I don't care if they're bad if I like them. I guess is more the thing to say. I don't smoke weed that much these days, though. I used to smoke a lot more. What do I have for blocks at the moment? Let's just do this. I just need somewhere for the door. Somewhere for the walk-in. Yeah, it's really sad. Bruce Willis's life is... You know, it's very rare that, like, I feel happy when somebody passes away, but I don't envy the existence of Bruce Willis's family right now. Like, having to go through shit of people's brains degrading is extremely tough on people. So it really sucks, but... No, Bruce Willis just has really advanced, like, brain problems at this point. Is it dementia? I thought he had something else as well, but... yeah, I don't know. Makes me sad. I know that he's like his brain isn't functioning anymore, but I'm not sure if it's dementia specifically or something else. It's generally a bad idea to wish death on people you don't like on the internet, which is why I usually wish people house arrest. That was an interesting spike of lag there. A bunch of my dogs are fighting with a chinchilla. I wonder if that's related. I hate to break it to you, but we're on the internet right now, friend. So, this is the internet. Wah, wah, wah. I think it's probably wise if you change the subject, even though I probably won't disagree with you. You watched your grandma go out with Alzheimer's, You're gonna self-delete? The only thing that was nice about my Oma getting dementia was I got to admit and tell her a lot of things. And she wouldn't remember 40 minutes later. Which for me was kind of cathartic. But... you know. C'est la vie. May you get everything you deserve. Both a blessing and a curse. I really like the have an awesome weekend when someone I don't like is talking to me. Like, just be like painfully, obnoxiously polite. What's my door production like at the moment? Oh, we're also still making cabinets and other things. That's the real issue here. I'm just gonna wait for the ads to end because we're in an ad break. For both DF and Total War 3 to get an update? Dwarf Fortress just got an update, though. Or are you waiting for the military stuff to get fixed?
Free money for you?
I mean, it's not really free. Technically, you paid for it. But thank you for the Prime. And now you get the ad-free viewing on the channel. So I appreciate you. Thank you very much for the Prime sub for 2 months. Welcome back, Mind. It's been a minute. It's good to have you around, mate.
Finally.
Finally, indeed. You can't get your Marksdorfs to train? Do they have everything they need? Are they set to training? Do they have quivers? Do they have ammunition? Do they have training ammunition that's set as training ammunition? Do they have crossbows? Do they have bolts in their quivers to train with? You think so? So you've made, this is in the YouTube chat, you've made one of these, you've set them to set in a direction, you've added a squad to it, you've gone to that squad, you've set them to train, you've also tried clicking this, and I don't actually think that this is a ranged squad, is it? And you've set ammunition of the right type to this squad, and set one for combat and one for training. That is training. So they don't train constantly when you set them to train in a Marksdorf spot. So you said that they shoot some copper bolts occasionally. That is training. So they are working as intended then. So they are training. You said that they're not training, but they are training. Did you set it so that wooden bolts were set as training ammunition? In the ammo screen, because you have to highlight the one that you want set as training ammunition. Whereas copper bolts should be set as combat ammunition. So combat should be highlighted and training should be highlighted. So really, military can only do military. While they are in training mode, they can only do military. Or while they are in combat mode, obviously they cannot do not military. But you can set up training schedules in the schedule screen down here so that they do other things by editing this and the things that they do. Whoops, not that. And the things that they do from month to month. So you could edit all of these and be very particular about what you actually want them to do. But they can only do non-work things when they're either off duty or set to, or non-military things when they're off duty or set to ready. Slowly derusting the shower hooks in the apartment I just moved into, and I'm contemplating whether it's worth it to get the metal shower shelf derusted as well to put your stuff in. Yeah, I've never been in that position. That seems interesting. I kind of brought a shower head with me from the old apartment that I moved out because I liked it and I bought it. I mean, here's the thing. If they're firing bolts occasionally, they're training. It's just a matter of making sure that you have enough accessible ammo available for them at this point and making sure that it's in an accessible spot close to there. Or what you could do is you could put a chest into that military thing, click on this, and with the barracks, you can set them to put their ammunition there. So they will store their ammunition there, and then when they go to train, they will grab the ammo from there, and they will make sure that there's always a stockpile there, and you can just click on the chest to see if they actually have enough ammo. Also, you may have it set so that your hunters are using the same type of ammunition, and the hunters may have claimed it all. So that's all of the tips I have. Best of luck. I do need to make a guide on that at some point, but I'll be completely honest with you. YouTube has been making me very unenthusiastic about making YouTube videos as of late. So I'm just trying to make big fun videos that I know will do well, that are less mental work to put together. Just for burnout reasons. Not that I'm burnt out at the moment, but I'm trying not to get burnt out, if that makes any sense. Set you down to 2. I'll do rock blocks. Conglomerate. I don't really like precision platformers because I don't see that well. Fly kick. So I find them very difficult to play. Like physically difficult to play. I'm also not a huge fan of like explory, backtracky adventure games like that. I think search action is what they call them in Japan. Metroidvanias are what we call them here in the, I don't know, not Japan. I actually prefer the search action term. But what do I think about Hollow Knight? I don't know, it's got great music. The art's pretty nice. I've never played it. Really just like, are my jobs just that overloaded? They very well may be. Yeah, they very much are. I'm just gonna clear some tasks that are like non-mission critical and just get these doors done. You bought a mosquito zapper, pretty cheap thing. You thought it was a bit ineffective, so you dismantled it to see if you can improve it, and you discovered they probably would have caught fire. And it probably would have caught fire within a week. You should have bought a less powerful bug zapper, because static electricity is enough to kill a mosquito. Quite literally. I saw somebody with a Hollow Knight skinhead tattoo. Like, basically they were bald. Like, they had no hair. And probably shaved his head. And he had a Hollow Knight thingy on the back of his head. Which is, like, kind of impressive. Yeah, I don't know. That type of game just isn't for me. So that's all I really think about Hollow Knight. I don't dislike it, but it's one of those games that people are so vehemently quick to defend that when I'm like, yeah, the genre's not really for me, some people are like, why do you hate it? I'm like, well, that's not what I said, but oh well. I like the music. You know, a small pond in your garden, and your father put one of those zappers to work last night. That's so that the mosquitoes don't breed too much in there. Sounds like you just need more fish in your pond, because they'll eat those, you know. I don't think it's that people need to accept that style isn't their thing. I think people, this is just a human trait, right? But like, I think humans love confirmation bias, where if you like something, everybody else should like that thing. And you want to hear the people that you like to talk about things that you also like talk about the thing that you like. Which is why people like me get asked constantly about games like CDDA and RimWorld and Quasimorph and I guess Hollow Knight. But if I could see better, I would probably still enjoy games like search action style adventure games. Because when I was younger, there was quite a few of those games that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed quite a few of the Castlevania games for the 3DS. I liked the Metroid Fusion, I think, for the Game Boy Advance. Thought that game was pretty fun, actually. Like, there's quite a few games like that I've enjoyed. But at this point, I know how difficult they are for me to play, and my eyes have just gotten worse, so. You know, true story, I've never actually played DDR. I've played drums for Rock Band before, and that was a fun afternoon. But I've never actually played DDR. You have custom pads? Hell yeah. DDR is cool. I like watching DDR. It's a lot of rhythm games are like that, where like, I love being the guy handing the people the drinks at the party so that I can watch them do the funny thing in the dancing game and fall over. I was always that person at the family get-togethers. I'm just going to do these manually because I can't mass assign them without doors on them. It's going to take a little bit for them to actually queue up all those doors. Oopsies. I made 2 there. 2 there. You there! Dormitory. Or bedroom. Oopsies. All right, let's just get these dwarves assigned. A lot of them are married, which makes things easier. Blink is giving away one of my vampire mugs, the tin one, which is great for camping and outdoor things. Exclamation point enter if you're in the Twitch chat and would like a chance to win one. And if you're in the YouTube chat, if you jump over to the Twitch chat right now and type in exclamation point enter, you will be entered for a chance to win a mug. Just saying. You should type in exclamation point enter. You made a lot of fun of your friend for bringing his DDR kit to your spring break at a beach until we had half a dozen girls in bikinis playing your game in our rental. It's because you've lived a very different life than me. See, I moved out at 18 and had a full-time job. And I've been working full-time ever since. I've never been in that situation. The closest thing I think I would say to that is like being at PAX, but that doesn't really count. And then all the Rock Band stuff was just family get-togethers. This was like high school. I will reiterate, you and me lived very different lives, mate. I've had to have this discussion with a couple people recently where it's people just like mention like parties or things that they did, and it's like, I don't think you realize how much of a shut-in I am. Not necessarily by choice, but... Sounds like a Monday for me, to be honest. Or just a hangover, Necro. Dad Gamer RC. Dad Game RC? Dad Game RC. I'm not sure what your name is, actually. You've won a mug. Congrats. If you click that redeem link, you can redeem your mug. Or maybe you're like a 50s mafioso. Dad Gamer, she. But yeah, click on that link and you can redeem your mug. I think that's actually my first merch sale in over a month. Although I didn't check this morning, but it's been a while. I haven't released anything new recently, and no big videos have been coming out, and YouTube hasn't been recommending my stuff, so I haven't been getting much in the way of traffic in that way. What's sus about Amsterdam? Can you have a dwarf bran? What's a bran? Is that like a cereal? You'd like a bearded dwarf. Okay. It's like, I want a bran-flavored dwarf. Would you like raisins with that? Here, how about a farmer? Just so that I can defer you from previous dwarf. You have no family, so you've got many places to go in life. You're making raspberry dye. He's very happy and optimistic, and he is quick to anger. Wait, what? Very happy and optimistic, snaps easily. Is stingy with resources when working on projects and refuses to expend any extra effort. He does not go out of his way to help others and is curious and eager to learn. He has a sense of duty, though he still holds the law in disdain. He's a weird dwarf. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't mind being outdoors, at least for a time. Dreams of mastering a crafter work someday and personally does not respect the law and values loyalty. Likes quartzite, platinum, trapezoidite, dog leather, pigtail fabric, the color pale blue, gizzard stones, flasks, and the sound of the flowery lutes. When possible, he prefers to consume whip wine and oranges, but he hates slugs. You're a member of the denomination of Vaults. I'm not so sure what that religion is. It's probably the god of wealth as well. Yeah, it's the god of jewels. Very popular god at Tour. It's not quite as popular as the god of wealth, though. Jesus. Mr. Treasure Vault over there. How to use buckets to make a farm in your underground fortress. Dig to where there's dirt and build on dirt. Or what I did here is, all of these are actually rotten, which is actually kind of bad. Do I have farming disabled right now? I might. No, it's not, but I guess it is. I've got enough jobs disabled that there's probably just no seeds. Yeah, there's just no seeds. So what I did was one layer above, I channeled down into that layer from above, like doing this. So I removed the ceiling, and then you go here and you make a pit pond, and you need to have a water source somewhere that's not frozen. And then you create that pit pond, and then you click this button right here, which is designate this stone as the top of a pond, and citizens will bring buckets. So then they bring buckets over to here, and then they throw it over the edge once this has been dug out, down into here, and that makes a splat of mud. And then you go all the way along and do that all the way along, and then there's mud there. That's the way that I did it in this form. Takes a little while and is kind of tedious, but gets you a very high output garden. I'm also going to go enable drink brewing, which looks like they currently are. What the fuck then? I probably just have too many plants, actually. Yeah, I have too many plants and not enough barrels, actually, is probably the issue. Just make 50 barrels. Cheers! Thanks, Blink, for gifting out that mug. Because you were the ping pong champion? No drinking, only ponging? I mean, hell yeah. I was very bummed out when the video that I released on Sunday didn't do super well. So I went and played pinball for like 4 hours on Sunday night. And that was really nice. I forgot how much I like Old Williams tables. I'm not going to pretend to say that I'm any good at pinball. I'm not. But I got some okay scores on Getaway. You haven't seen a real pinball in ages? Here in Victoria, we have, you could look it up, it's called Pinhalla. It's only tolerable after 9 p.m. though, because after 9 p.m. they stop letting minors in and it becomes a bar, or more of a bar, I guess. The rest of the time it's just children's birthday parties, so if you're like me and don't like having tripping hazards everywhere, I mean kids, it's wise to avoid that place before 9 p.m. But after 9 p.m., it's lovely. Truly. It's great, actually. They've got a pretty great collection. There's a Game Boy game for the Getaway table? Really? Like like a pinball game for the Game Boy? So I have to make 2 guild halls. One is a Dyer's Guild and the other is a Miner's Guild. I'm thinking about putting the Dyer's Guild right here. The Miner's Guild, on the other hand, this is probably going to mostly be bedrooms. Let's put the Miner's Guild up here. So I'll start that digging out here. So that can be the Miners Guild. And then up here, the Dyer's Guild, I'm just going to put right here. I'm just going to go to flooring. Actually, let's do this with walls. So I'm going to show you some tricks here, chat. So this is all walls right now, right? So you're like, what? But they're not going to be able to build that, right? Yeah, no, you're right. You are very much correct. However, that doesn't matter because I'm going to fix it. So now that I've got all this, they also can't build diagonally, so I need to be cautious about these. But I'm just going to go over top of this with flooring. And they will maintain the same floor type that I started constructing initially. And I'm just going to go around the edge here and knock out all the walls that I know they won't be able to build. And then I will fill those in on the other side probably, or after the fact. And this will be my Dyer's Guild. I also know I need this to be pretty high value kind of out the gate, so I may actually like extend this over here, and now you're like, but that's floor, not walls. Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's totally fine. You'll see why in a second. If I go here and to here, I can then just simply go into here and replace this with that. Thump, thump, thump. And you know what? Let's actually make this more open than what I was doing initially. So I'm going to do that, that, and this. And maybe also add some space for windows. Speaking of Windows, did you guys notice that Windows 95 had a birthday? Windows 95 is 30. Joke as old as time, boom boom. Joke as old as time. Here come all the motherfucking blocks. Look at that. And this right here, because it's going to be the Dyer's Guild. I already have a Dyer's Guild because that's what I wanted this fort to specialize in. So I don't actually need to make a new one because I already have one. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go up to it and check what its name was. Because it's right here. It's just this square here. The Lilac of Glens. The Bearded Guild of Animals. Get rid of that. And then go here. And assign it to the Lilac of Glens. Yeah, I don't know. Getaway is one of those tables that, like, I'm not going to say that I'm good at, but I know it well enough because I know a lot of the mechanics that it has because I've just played it a bunch. And I tend to stick to the same table if I play it enough where, like, I kind of know how to, you know, I can consistently get multi-ball. I know what targets I need to hit. I know about the mini games and stuff. It's a cool table. This will actually probably be enough value just to satisfy it out the gate. Yeah, it's already satisfied. So that's the first one. So the Dyer's Guild, done. Now we got to do the mine-er, not mine-or. See, instead of a mine-or, I'd prefer like a mine-yes-and. Yes-and. Chat room. I need to use the toilet. I will deal with that in a second. I'd like to know how many dwarves you think are going to die. BRB.
Woo.
Also, Wolfist Wolf, thank you very much for the 6 months. Welcome back. You bet on 2 losses? We do have a soul. It depends on where it is, really. Okay, so the Etten, Lissigriel, Orc Roll. I do not want to eat an Orc Roll. That cannot taste good. Has come. A giant humanoid monster with 2 heads. Berry Queens, the Large Embrace. That's a fantastic name. Has nothing in its inventory. Has killed some unknown creatures. It's enemies with a couple people. And has no family. Well, that's sad. Looking for dwarves outside. Capture? I'm not going to be able to capture them. I don't have a single cage trap. I mean, if there's no dwarves outside, I could close the doors, actually. And try and capture them, but I don't know. I could try. We'll try. We'll try. Just put stuff into burrows that I know are not in burrows so that I don't have a bunch of jobs canceling on me. Imagine being a dwarf that owns a bedroom that is just like not accessible during the burrows. It's like, we're under strict lockdown. Stay in the burrow. It's like, can I go to bed? No, stay in the burrow. But my stuff's in the stay in the burrow. It's very important. Under no circumstances are you gonna leave the burrow. Like, but man, come on. All right, now that all the dwarves are locked in the Thunderdome, it's time to pull this lever. But also, like, leave it. Okay. So that's shut. I'm gonna go right here, and I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna add this to the burrow. I'm also going to add this to the burrow, and that to the burrow. Those all just get re-upped momentarily. So I can start doing these work orders again. I'm also going to need... I probably don't have any cages, but I'll just make some wooden cages. Let's make 20. And let's make a rock mechanisms. Now that the gates are closed, actually, I can just turn the pro off. Well, I mean, that Etten would wrestle them to death, so that's kind of a hug. We're a bunch of need bedrooms, but they're all super happy about a dedicated temple, so their negative moods just get canceled out, and so you're working on the bedroom situation. Yeah, that's kind of what you have to do. You just have to give them good thoughts to compensate for the negative thoughts, and don't give them overwhelmingly negative thoughts constantly, and they'll usually be okay. We're in an ad break, so I will pause the game. Do I actually have any stuff to make a cage trap? I do. Caught a zombie hydra last night? Oh, that's exciting. Zombie any creature is fun. Or are fun to catch. Caught a blah! Sorry, that was me refreshing a thing. Twitch chat, thank you very much for the 170 of you tuned in today. Appreciate you greatly. Seriously. Thanks for letting me do this for a living. YouTube folks, you guys got to step up that liking game. I hate to break it to you. There's currently 88 of you watching and 42 have liked it, which means less than half of you statistically have left a like on the stream. Or you had a fort where you captured 2 Ettins and you decide to make them a nice pit to live in for throwing prisoners into. What I did not realize was that Ettins are pretty great climbers, so they had a couple of real escape artists on your hands, and much save reloading was done while I figured out just how much of an overhang needed to keep them trapped. That's fun. I watched a friend of mine playing this once, and he built a giant hole in the ground and built a fort in it. Like, just a giant circular thing with, like, stairs around the edges. And he had, like, a little wall at the top made of boulders and then raised a drawbridge. And he's like, yeah, no. He's like, it'll be so hard to attack this place. And then a bunch of goblins came in, just like one of those little scout squads. They climbed up onto that wall on the outside and just used it like a firing squad, and his fort fell. It's very funny to watch. He's like, I thought I had the best strategy. Apparently not. It's good times. My genius plan is ruined. Yes, my genius plan is ruined by obvious problems with said genius plan. Okay, so I still need to make that miner guild, which I'm gonna go. Whoop. Yeah, also we have microclines, so I get blue, which I'm excited about. Gonna go back up to where that miners guild is. Wait, what was that? What type of metal was that? Oh, I did not. I completely forgot that I had silver. Okay, we'll have to do something with that. That's gonna go up here. Whoa! I agree.
Might
By
be
the way.
like cheered. X1000. Everyone here should go eat an Asian pear now.
Asian pears are so tasty. I just wish they were like less ridiculously expensive most of the time here. They're like one of those fruits where it's like papaya. It's like I really like papaya, but like I almost never buy it because papaya is so ridiculously expensive out here. Like I really like papaya. Papaya very tasty, but like papaya never worth the money. But thank you very much for the $10 and for taking #1 on the bits leaderboard. It took me about 5,000 hours to see my first dragon.
Crypt arrive,
Jesus.
crypt arrive, crypt arrive.
Shark jumping walrus. I have to say big thank you very much for keeping that sub alive for a 30-second month and also for the higher tier subscription. That's very kind of you. Means a lot, mate. Also, that's a lot of months. Just as a side note. And then this can just be set as a miners guild. And I will accept that, and I will prettyify those up as needed. We're making lots of wool into yarn. Probably spinning plenty of thread. Correct, we are. Let's just say more than 20, do 10. Set you up too. I presume so. I don't think you died, did you? Hold up. Did I give you a priest? Hold up. I thought I did. Did you get axed in the, oh, you might have. Did you get nuked when the game crashed? Because this fort did crash once. I think this was your dwarf, actually. Yes. Yes, you are still alive. Also, that's bad capitalization. Is this high enough value yet? Yes. Let's just go into here and unforbid all these canceled constructions. Chat, what's a creature that you know exists in Dwarf Fortress but you've never seen one in the wild? Because I'm seeing a lot of people saying that they've never seen Hydras in Dwarf Fort. You've never seen an angel? Really? I guess you've never tried to dig too deep then. Clowns? I mean, to be fair, I've never seen a clown in Dwarf Fortress. People keep talking about them, though. It's weird. Okay, let's put these dwarves back into this and get that dug up. You've never seen a bronze colossus? You might want to be happy about that second one, actually. I mean, you know what a clown is. Well, I mean, clowns are comedians, right? And comedians could come to your tavern. You have like 16 pinball machines at your place that need fixing? Good lord, man. You've seen a Sasquatch? Sasquatch are really common in adventure mode and not so easy to find in fort mode. Okay, so here comes the Etten. And there's Genius McDorfus here. Oh, I see what he's doing. You might want to run there, dwarf. Like, fast. There you go. That was very close. But Lead there almost got thwacked in the head. But thankfully he didn't. So that's good for everybody involved. But well done to Lead there for not, you know, dying horribly. Well done, dwarves. Well done. Well done, I say. Now, where the fuck do I put it? I caught the Etten, chat. I don't know where to put it right now. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go all the way up to here. By here, I mean the top of the stairs. Right here. And I'm going to get this area dug out. And I'm going to get rid of that. And this will eventually have more entry space here. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here, maybe? And just start placing cage traps with things in it that are going to be made into part of this arena eventually in the future. It's very hard to talk over that sound. And then I'll like just refer to that as the green room or something. Things that are unhappy guests. So things in cages can starve, but evil entities that want you dead that are marked as hostile or uninvited don't have the eat or drink need, so they can't starve to death because they don't need food. Maybe with artifacts? No, I already have an artifacts box. Greetings from Poland. Hello from Canada. You've never seen a giant elephant? You have to settle in, like, untamed wild savanna a lot. This weekend was so worth it. I had kind of a very mixed weekend. Apparently cage traps are getting a big rework in the future, but I'm actually looking forward to that a lot. I think that's going to be really interesting when that happens. Great. Yeah, so those aren't hostile though, right? So grazers will starve in cages, sure. But if like the humans attack you with a bunch of horses, those horses won't starve. But animals will starve in cages in your fortress if they are grazers. So will, like, your own dwarves if nobody brings them food and drink. If one of them end up in a cage. But hostile grazers, no. I'm really curious to see how it manifests as far as the cage trap reworks goes. Okay, I'm going to go down here. And I'm going to open this, or get rid of this cage trap underneath it. I'm just going to put a drawbridge right here. And just kind of go into here and just make like a little side entrance for critters I want to catch, basically. Actually, let's get rid of that and just put flooring down first so it looks pretty. Because I'm very vain like that. Yep. I'm like I said, I'm curious to see how that manifests in game, right? Because Tarn's speculation and ideas don't always make their way into the game. And like Tarn mentioning something, like to give you an example, Tarn first mentioned guild halls in 2009. They were implemented in the game in 2020. So just realize Tarn mentioning something doesn't necessarily mean it'll make it its way into the game right away. Most certainly eventually. But I'm just trying to temper expectations. It might be sooner, might be later, I guess is all I should say. No, you cannot. Not without mods. Sour grapes. It would be an interesting defensive feature, though. I mean, well, okay, so specifically, Hydras can be trained. Dragons can be trained. Ettins, Giants, Minotaurs, no. So, I guess the answer is yes, asterisk. But, like, rocks can be trained. But the humanoid and quote-unquote intelligent ones can't be. Oh, I should make cheese down here, actually. It's like, but I have milk items. Let's just do that seasonally. It's fine. Cancels it cancels. I've never managed to successfully get them to breed freeways. So I believe that. I've never seen it though. Although the easiest way to get a cave dragon army, cave dragon specifically sour grapes, is steal them. Don't try and raise them because they take like 1,000 years to get to full size. And if you can steal them from the goblins, which is pretty consistently easy to do, they'll be 200, 300, 400 years old already, and they'll be much more efficient. Basically, like when a dragon is born, they're about the size of a small puppy. They're like tiny, but they get gigantic. So a war-trained cave dragon that's 1 year old is going to be about as effective as a war dog. A war-trained cave dragon that is 200 years old is like a giant elephant. So just make sure that like you're not sending the kiddies out to war because they won't be very effective. I mean, I completely agree, Jesus, in YouTube chat. They say instead of trained, it would be fun if giants could be bargained with or something similar. Yeah, no, I agree. I would really like there to be some way to discuss with the Mega Beasts, especially considering the fact that there is a mechanic level accepted bug. So a bug that is not going to get fixed or will ideally be tuned so that it works better and makes more sense logically in the game. But there is a bug in the game right now where dwarves... What's the word I'm looking for here? Where... Not dwarves, where Ettins and giants can join factions as part of religions during World Gen. So, like, they'll try and become, or they'll become a member of whatever human faction. And what this does is it makes them neutral in World Gen to that faction. So they won't attack that faction or that town, but they'll go and they'll attack neighboring villages and other groups around. So it's really funny to see, like, a Ettin or a Cyclops prophet go and like proselytize a religion somewhere and then go to the nearby human town and murder a bunch of people. It's like 845 chickens then went and preached the good word of Aztrock the Generous or whatever. I wouldn't mind something like that, Romanoid Troll. But I'll say this. I think that there's a lot of things in Dwarf Fortress that are like, oh, that's neat, right? You could do that, and that could be interesting. I think if they were to do that, especially with the game, the way the game works right now, I think it would suck. Because then the optimal strategy would just be make 250 cage traps, catch everything, persuade all the ones to join, kill the other ones one by one that can't join, and then wait for the next siege. Tarn said that during the siege improvements, we'll be able to do quote-unquote more with prisoners. I don't know what that means. But this game is like vehemently anti-slavery, so I don't think it'll be necessarily what everybody wants or what some people would want. But I'd be curious to see what they end up doing. For sure. Certainly silly and, like, good fantasy storytelling. Dark Lord Ivy. Certainly that, at least. Alright, I need a lever room, which is becoming this room slowly. You saw a gnome long time ago? Oh, that's funny. I presume that's what you meant when you said no gnome. But yeah, I mean, Dwarf Fortress needs a lot of things. Dwarf Fortress has a lot of problems, and that's pretty well known. Well, heavily discussed, I would say. Incorruptibly evil? I think, though, there's, like, differences in monsters, right? Like, you know, a dragon is a wild animal that can be trained, whereas, like, a giant or an Ettin is a misunderstood intelligent entity. Like, you can talk to them in adventure mode. I like the idea of the Ettins not being, like, incompetently evil or something. I like the idea of them being intelligent creatures that simply don't treat dwarves, humans, and goblins as comparably intelligent creatures. So I really like the idea of, like, maybe a very empathetic Ettin, instead of, like, showing up and murdering you, showing up and saying, I need 10 cows to sustain my hunger. And also I live here now. So if you don't give me those 10 cows, and I realize you only have sheep in the fort, I don't care that you don't have cows. I like cows. You must gift me those cows. And then, like, every spring they show up at your trading depot and you have to give them cows as a gift. Or whatever, you know? Yes, sure, exactly. Like, the experiments. The experiments are, like, supposed to be able to form their own factions eventually, so... Like, there's a lot of neat things that are, like, planned in places for Dwarf Fort, so... You know, hopefully we get there. All right. What was I doing? You're making cloth. You're making cloth. Actually, just gonna throw one more of these in now because I've got a bunch of space. I'm not familiar with Warcraft lore, like, in the slightest, so I will smile and nod and say yes, just like that, probably. Okay, this one needs to be finished. See, is maybe not that back corner up there. And let's follow you until you're done linking. You don't like that idea? The other thing was like, I remember seeing a suggestion. I can't remember if this was like in Future of the Fortress or something, but like they could, what if an Etten, this is not a promised feature or anything, asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. What if an Etten could show up and demand like 50 pieces of silk and 50 pieces of like silk thread, and then they just make themselves clothing and then leave the map? Like, what if you could, what if they could like threaten you and be like, you have to make me this thing, and if you don't, then I will murder your family? How much charcoal do I have? 42. Let's do copper table. Oopsies. And copper throne. Because I'm running out of... I don't need those adamantine ballista arrows. I'm running out of space for tables and thrones. Or rather, I need more tables and thrones. Let's also... smelt malachite. And also, I think there's just a bunch more malachite in various spots. So let's just go look real quick here. Oh shit, is that where the aquifer is? Oh, that's actually good to know. I found the aquifer, chat. This is really good news. Oh no, we've got another vampire. Excellent. I have a few suspicions already, though. Unless the first one got out, which kind of would actually make no sense. How would that happen? Now that I think about it. Oh, wow. Potpourri, are you a vampire? Well, you definitely just witnessed it. If nothing else. Somebody here just did... Somebody just ate Saigon in public. In front of the whole fort. They're accusing Astish. Like, as in this dwarf? Death, it's all around us. It's truly... Oh, yep. Huh. Well then, I mean, you are a legendary bone carver. So that's 2 vampires now that we have in this fort. Ah. Sheesh, I wonder where that first giveaway is. This stable town. Former member. The Socketed Hall. Warriors Guild. Guild of Bone. The Weaponsmiths Guild. They were a member of the Amethyst Sect. They're a former countess. And the Decent Smith, which is a mostly dead faction now. We've also got some relatively long-named people that they know, which means there's a bunch of notable figures in their family. Well, then, I'm going to interrogate this dwarf. And Sweaty Poet, my captain of the guard, who's pissed, by the way. Do I not have enough chains, actually? That might be it, actually. Look at this dwarf just getting bombed. Like, mobbed by every single thing. 19 witnesses. I think here's the problem. About 2/3 of the dwarves that arrive in this fort are legendary in something. So either half this faction is vampires, or, yeah. So I personally don't worry about being, like, careful around randomly legendary dwarves, because while, yes, often vampires tend to randomly be legendary, equal times they're just random dwarves that are completely unrelated and just had some luck in World Gen. Sometimes I'd say that even happens more often than not. It's just like a false direction. If your legends are drinking beer, but what if 40 of them arrive all at once? I mean, I'm not that anal about things. If they eat somebody, then I'll deal with it. And that's kind of how I operate. If they eat somebody, I'll deal with it. You've not played enough? I find that it's very world specific. You either get a world with a lot of vampires in it, or you never see a vampire. There's like that, and that's just kind of how it works usually. So you're trying to meet with the mayor and complain about the lack of chains, probably. My captain of the guard is basically on strike at the moment, which is kind of funny. 23 witnesses, by the way. I mean, congrats. But Terrifying Biome is not going to incentivize or change whether or not you get vampires. Being lucky, or unlucky, I guess, in World Gen and getting a bunch of vampires and then playing in a faction that has a bunch of vampires in it will get you a bunch of vampires. So a lot of stars need to align. Like, I've gone easily 2 years of gameplay without seeing a single vampire. Edict. Any nerd dwarves? I do not have any scholars at the moment. No, I do not. But I do have dwarves that are like administrators. My bookkeeper is technically available. I don't know. What do you want? You're gonna have to be a little bit specific. Do you want a beard dwarf or without beard dwarf? And these are kind of my nerdy dwarves. But I don't have any scholars. Soul statics. Thank you. Appreciate you. Is there any way to get peace with a faction at war? Once a war has started, there is no way to create peace from within fort mode. Just period. Any admin then? What want you? There's the list. We got diagnosers, bone doctor, bookkeeper. We got administrators. We've got trader. Not to be confused with the traitor over there, who's the vampire, who we're going to throw in prison now. Just what want you? Please say thanks. I can't speak that language, so I don't know what that means. Big bad. No problem, Macro. In YouTube chat. Bookkeeper tip. It's a lady dwarf bookkeeper. So Missed an eye. Gotta be responsible. That's fair, dude. Have a good night. She feels pleasure near a fine door. Well, that's lovely. She's often filled with joy, is intellectually stubborn, rarely changing her mind during a debate, regardless of its merits, tends to not reveal personal information, can sometimes act without deliberation, does not try to get things done perfectly, and does not easily fall in love, and rarely develops positive feelings. She isn't particularly ambitious, so she always tries to keep her things orderly, and finds obligations confining, though she is conflicted by this for more than one reason. She likes to brawl, and she is slow to trust others. She has a greedy streak, and she isn't particularly curious about the world. She dreams of mastering a skill, and personally, deeply dislikes competition. Disregards tradition. Sorry, she deeply values competition and disregards tradition. I read that weird. And values cunning and doesn't particularly care about craftsmanship. Dreams of mastering a skill. She likes galena and silver, as well as alexandrite and flying squirrel leather. She likes it when the leather's flying. And rabbits, and for their ears and the sight of the shadow of rock, and when possible prefers to consume lungfish and tomato wine, and absolutely hates fire snakes. I don't like the sound of tomato wine. That sounds absolutely awful. But you are a skilled swords dwarf and actually have a steel short sword, so welcome to the fort. I mean, I would say, Dark Sparrow, dwarves do negotiate with terrorists. I'm sure there's somebody out there, like, accepting parlays, which is kind of negotiating with terrorists. However, dwarf don't know what diplomacy post-war is. So... sitting here going like, why are these jobs happening so slowly? It's because I paused them all again, you doofus. Look at me, I'm smart. I'm good at remembering what I did in a video game. Captain, let's follow you. Chocolate dipped in raw potatoes. I mean, to me, that just sounds like a really weird Caesar, but I also don't like Caesars, so... Like, a Caesar is just, like, a salad plus, like, alcoholic tomato juice. And, like, I just, bleh. Not a fan. Dwarf also wants to practice a martial art. So this dwarf being dead. The other thing I need to do is I need to go here and I need to make them a tomb. So I just, like, saw one of my own hairs out of my peripheral vision and thought that there was a bee in my apartment. That's all I have to say. I don't know. I don't know why my brain immediately went to, like, bee or wasp, but that would be where my brain went. I mean, what if they're, like, can't handle, like, gluten? Then you should probably say hold the croutons. Could very much be a, like, a medical restriction. I just generally ask people to wash their hands before they hold the croutons and put it in my salad, you know? Visual deficiency is also a pretty funny thing. Might be mine. You get jump scared by your own shadow? Yeah. My bad eye hallucinates things. Like, I can see light and motion out of my bad eye. This eye. And so every now and again, like, somebody will walk past or, like, I'll see a tree or something out of, or like there's a tree there or something out of that eye that like I vaguely get a glimpse of, and then my brain just like flicks it as like bear or truck or thing that could kill me, and it immediately starts a fight or flight response, and it's terrifying. Saigon Vutok. What's the name of that dwarf? Have we interrogated that dwarf yet? Nope. Where's my cap? Excuse me. Dwarf. Why are you making blocks? You should be interrogating and then arresting a dwarf. Like, I understand your frustration at the scarcity of cages, but, like, there you go. Thank you, dwarf. It's always a fun experience. Yeah. I saw a deer the other day. It was walking on the sidewalk, which is very smart of it. Much better than the baby seagulls that run into traffic. Okay, so she doesn't feel anything at work. Attempted to build rapport in order to elicit information. The subject was a neutral loner and refused to listen. In retrospect, the interrogator may have completely misjudged the subject's character. We'll interrogate them again. And I'm also going to go here and plop some more ropes down. And the other thing I'm going to do actually is just dig this out and make this area bigger, so I can fit more chains in there. I mean, it's kind of sad, this dwarf. Okay, let's see how that second interrogation went. The subject confessed to the murder. The subject, my captain of the guard, made intimidating remarks to elicit information. The subject naively complied. The subject confessed to murder, and Asteth Rackwains is an assumed identity. Their real name is Adil Gang Mountains? Well, that's great. That's, you know, my favorite generated fortress name of all time was the Great Padinsky, who streams sometimes. Pretty well known in the Skyrim modding community. He generated a fortress called Basement Gang. That is up there with that. So he was the Basement Gang. Speaking of the Basement Gang, Chad, are you a member of the Basement Gang? What I mean is, do you spend too much time at your computer? Have you ever dabbled in game development? Do you want to? Because my stream team is hosting a game jam, which is something I should be promoting from time to time on the stream here. We're hosting a game jam. It's in like a month-ish. There's a specific Discord for it, as well as information about it. It's an adventure game jam. There's a link if you're interested or know somebody who would be interested or just want to go follow along. You can go check it out at one of those two links. It's being run by myself and some friends. Okay, so that's an assumed identity. And the subject revealed that in the late summer of the year 100, the subject began embezzling funds at the steward of the Socketed Hall. All right, well, let's arrest you for your crimes and misdeeds, mostly murder. But all the information's on the HIO page, so that's your best place to start. All right, vampire number 2, you can become best friends with vampire number 1 through a wall. I'm sure this will be fine, right? What's your pastime? Death. That's a very short time in prison for murder. Oh wait, no, that's the other one that was about to be let out, right? Because like murdered 3 people, whereas you get 224 for killing Saigon. Who's one of my admins? Were they in the military? Yeah, they were. Wow. And then I can put a slab over here, which hasn't been made yet, but there's Saigon's body resting. It's unfortunate. I mean, my actual plan is to eventually put them in a squad of themselves and then making them fight monsters. That's my actual plan, for whatever it's worth. We're about to get some music sipping here. Look at this. Oh, this is the that one dance I saw them do that one time with the thing. The fuchsia rhythm, which is a partner dance originating in the strategic boots. The form guides dancers during improvised performances, and the dance is accompanied by a combination of the flowery lutes, or composition of the flowery lutes. The dancers perform in a circle, and the music's thoth rhythm, are moving to the music's thoth rhythm. The partners rarely make contact, communing intent constantly through spoken cues. Yeah, exactly, shiny. Or not shiny, tiny. Also, chat, could I get your favorite dance music or dance emotes, I suppose, in the chat? And YouTube folks just hit the party button a bunch. Because the Dwarves is dancing. Look at that. We have a bongo Dwarf emote here that's pretty good. And you always wonder what the play conditions are? This one and, what's the other one? Drink and Industry require your dwarves to be dancing, and it's like a certain percentage of your faction has to actively be dancing. So it's basically like you need a big enough floor for a dance floor. A percentage of, I think it's 30%, of your fortress needs to be in the tavern or socializing, and then they need to dance. So basically they need to perform a dance, and they all need to know the dance well enough that a lot of people jump into it, and then they all improve dance, and it's a really good activity for your dwarves. I mean, it's considered a social dance, isn't it? Or social skill. Maybe it's other skills. Adequate dancer, see? As a shiny I don't know. I don't know where my brain is today. Hippo. Hey, Sparky. What's up, dude? Now you're telling a story? What story? How the neutral company, or the natural company formed in Colorbeard. The natural company being my dyeing guild? I think? Unless it's this one. Yeah, it's the Farmers Guild. The Mint Fields. The natural company. I have a question. Why would your neighbors... How could your neighbors catch you in your... Wait, was it your garage or your neighbor's garage? Garage door open. So they didn't catch you, they witnessed you. Because being caught implies you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing. But in the safety of your own home, you can sing Dwarf song as loud as you fucking want. What's the point of living in a free and open society if you can't sing Dwarf song? Also, imagine having a garage. It felt shameful? Nah, have some pride in your dumb hobbies. Do 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 do. Feels pleasure near a splendid restraint. I kind of wish that this dwarf brought their son, Maffle. That would have been great, but oh well. You know, if I set this as a tavern, these dwarves could probably socialize in here. Or rather, if I put a tavern, a small tavern in here, like if I make a meeting zone right here.
Love your YouTube tutorials. Thanks for getting me into this weird game.
And then I do this. These two could probably socialize. Yeah, now they can tell each other stories. Wolf is cray. Thanks for the Prime sub for a second month. It'll lower the value of the dungeon, but I think what I'll actually do is I will separate this from that dungeon and put a separate dungeon zone right there. So this gets a dungeon zone here. So like they still count as part of the dungeon or a dungeon, but it doesn't lower the value of the rest of the dungeon, which is better for the other prisoners. So this dwarf is just gonna sit here and socialize with this dwarf. Maybe they can become best friends. I mean, right now they're just passing acquaintances, right? Thankfully, I don't think either of these dwarves are married. Which means maybe if they like ladies, they'll fall in love. Love at first. But well, they won't be able to bite each other because they'll be too far away. Let's do yarn rope. Actually, why don't I do copper chain? Like copper chains instead of yarn stuff. I'm trying to make my captain of the guard less pissed off at me. Oopsies. Yeah, because I've got 8 of 12 chains. I need 4 more. Should also just make some steel bars. Since I'm here. Oh, wrong thing. You. Also, chat, can I get a round of beers for Wolf is Cray keeping that Pride sub alive for a second month? Seriously. Welcome back, mate. I don't understand the statement, Dadrick. What do you mean, why does one get boulders but the other doesn't? What don't get? One has boulders, the other one doesn't? Oh. Well, ain't that boulder of me. One gets a boulder, yeah? No, you're not wrong. I don't know, because they were there first. I could make them invisible, and then we'll forget that they're there. They're released from what's inside it. they release the thing from the cage before they smelt, or as they smelt it, I guess. Sort of like if you have a bunch of items in a metal bin and you melt the bin down, all the items are just dumped out of the bin. So if you have like a zombie in a cage, don't smelt the cage because it will just release the zombie. I need you to go manage work orders there, Dwarf, and also drop that boulder while you're at it. Or don't. It's same with trading. If you try and trade an item, that has a living thing inside of it, that thing will just be released. So, like, as an example, if you have... I need to make more charcoal. If you have a, like, I don't know, an untrained elephant in a cage, and you try and sell it, that elephant will be released. If you have a goblin in a cage and you try and sell it, that goblin will be released, etc. It's just kind of how it works. Okay, so I think that this down here should be connected, so I should be able to open the doors up. You up here, pull that lever. Also pull this lever. Let's open the front door. It's 1 and 2. That door will open. Now this is closed. So I now have a way of letting monsters into the fort if I need to. There goes your zombie bar fortress. I mean, you can keep them in cages, just don't try and sell them. Also encrusting furniture with gems, meaning we have really nicely, decently high value tables and beds and such. Actually, I'm just gonna look at the value of that table. I'm gonna finish my coffee because it's cold and go toss this in the sink. All right, I'll be right back. All right, I return. We've also hit early spring, so animals are dying of old age. You have a large cave that would carry. Is there to? I mean, the only advantage to dwarves living without walls. This isn't planned to be without walls. I just wanted a lot of resources. I wanted to dig out a large area, and I'm slowly filling it in. The only advantage I can think of dwarves living without walls would be if a vampire eats somebody, everybody sees it. There is no real advantage or disadvantage to it. Aside from that, it's slightly harder on your CPU for pathing. because it makes pathing more complicated. But that's about it, really. Is it you? No, not you. Was it you? Yeah, I think this, we're just gonna make... Let's do that. And we can get fancy pink chains. The holy tax has been taken by a Fey mood. Chat, it's tax season. It is springtime. Speaking of taxes, you know what I learned 2 days ago this weekend? Is that I need to pay taxes quarterly now, as of August. Which, like, is fine. I have until September 15th to pay it, or pay, like, the first half of my taxes for the year. Just a little annoyed because I wasn't expecting that. I'm sure I was told at some point, but... Which means I'll probably get a refund. Because I get a bunch of tax deductions next year because I bought a place. That's fine. I was already saving for it. Like, I know approximately what the number is every year that I owe. So, that's fine. I kind of keep that amount around anyway. So I will be totally fine. But it's like... Bah! Big bill out of nowhere. Not to be rude, but do you think I get a salary? Like, I'm an independent contractor for Google and Amazon. I don't get a salary. Come on. Because technically Twitch makes me an independent contractor for Amazon. And with YouTube is Google. So this is my job. Nothing gets deducted. I am an independent business, legally speaking. So, yes, that is what happens when you drive for Uber, make YouTube videos, work for, I don't know, any food delivery service, any kind of independent contractor, gig economy stuff. Yes, that'll happen. You're waiting on a knock on your door? I wouldn't brag about that on the internet. But I live in Canada, so I don't mind paying taxes, to be completely honest with you. Although, actually, not paying taxes, all that really does is it just wrecks your credit, which just makes life harder. So unless you're planning to leave the country, it's probably not a wise idea in general. But like I said, you do you. I mean, you can smelt a zombie by just throwing the zombie into lava. Goose. It's an apartment, certainly not a house. But I cannot afford a house. I also don't need a house. I live alone, so it's just a one-bedroom apartment. And no, the tax thing's fine. It's like absolutely fine. If anything, it means I'm probably gonna get a refund, so I don't actually care. Like I said, I budgeted for it. So, and I'm a responsible business owner, and I pay my taxes because I live in Canada. And I like getting my healthcare paid for. With a house, you could have a larger garden for plants. Certainly, I would also have like 3 times the property tax. I would also be bankrupt and living paycheck to paycheck. So, unless you want to like, maybe don't double my salary, but give me a lot of money every month so that I could afford those monthly living costs, then I don't see why having a house would be even remotely beneficial. Just more upkeep costs. You're going for a bike ride? Enjoy your bike ride. I did that not yesterday, but the day before. Clino, how's things? I hope you're doing well. Do I still garden? Yeah, on my patio, and I've got lots of houseplants. Just in pots, though. I mean, for me, like, I've talked to people about this before. Unless I end up living with a partner who drives, I will never own a house. It's just not logical for somebody who's disabled and can't drive. Because most houses that are even remotely affordable are far enough away from city centers that my life would be so fucking inconvenient. It's just not worth it. Oh, you're grabbing a boulder. I was like, why are you running to a random bedroom, Dwarf? Gotta do what you gotta do, mind. Doing all right? Good to hear, dude. What do you think of all the new dying stuff, Clino? Because I know that you are, like, pretty non-combat when you play Dwarf Fort. Don't you also like playing really tall mountains, too? It's probably, like, a very U-type map, then. Pew, 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 pew. Might be my thanks for the gift subs. Appreciate you. For clarity's sake, when I say things like double my salary so I could afford it, I'm kind of using hyperbole and joking. I don't mean that you literally need to double my salary. I'm doing fine with the amount that I make. If people want to give me more money, that's cool. But generally, I'm doing okay. We'll see in 3 years as the economies collapse. But for the time being, I'm doing okay. But thank you all the same. Appreciate you. I had this interesting discussion with somebody recently, which was like, what would you do if you won the lottery? And if you won the lottery, would you take the full payout? Or would you only take the, like, basically they give you 20 grand a month or whatever for the next 20 something years? And out of the 4 people in the discussion, I was the only person who said I would take the 20 grand payout every month for the next 40 years or whatever. I realized the number changed. Because then I could just go get 2 mortgages and pay them off slowly and have incredible credit. And not have to, like, worry about the pressure of, I have X million dollars in my bank account now. What do I do with it? It gives you time to build up personal wealth and think about it and learn how to function instead of just, like, jumping into it. Well, you still can fuck it up, Ilmirin. It's just harder to fuck it up. But every other person was just like, no, get it right away, and then you pay everything off. It's like, well, who cares? Like, if you're getting 20 grand a month, you don't have any living costs. All right. Adil works furiously. The Holy Tax. So this is a religious figure in Zfort. They're in a strange mood. It's a woodworker's shop. They've got 2 steel bars, conglomerate, milk opal cabochons, stray turkey hen bone, and copper bars, as well as 2 peach logs, or peach logs and ash logs. Any bets on what that dwarf makes, chat? I'm gonna go fill out hopefully the rest of the chains. A really weird wooden chair, I guess. Does anybody else try to type in, like, throne whenever they try to make wood chairs? Because I forget that they're called chairs, not thrones. Barrel would be really cool. You know, I've watched a lot of Kitchen Nightmares, Bone Doll. I feel like you would end up actually working a lot. Like, a lot. You know what I would do if I won the lottery? Exactly what I do right now, except the production value would probably go up a bit. And I wouldn't say anything. That's what I would do. And then probably, I don't know, help my little sister get a mortgage. That's basically all I would do. I might also stream slightly less and not worry so much about being consistent, but that's about it. Correct. Athiok. So let's see what Poet thinks. My captain of the guard. Adil Kashalam, the Holy Tax, has created Gekasdakud. Gekasdakud, a ashen door, and offers it to the Mountain of Dyes. Oh, a door indeed. So, this is the Holy Tax, like, the Holy Tax's temple. Why would you need an artifact door for a silk farm? What? I'm going to put it right here for right now as a decorative thing. But maybe I'll use it for hell in the future. I mean, these are my artifacts. They're behind a locked door, which I've manually locked, behind this, which needs to be opened by pulling a lever, and then up here. So, yeah, no, I'm right there with you. That thing stealing your artifacts is annoying. 94 Tails, thank you very much for the Prime sub for our 4th month. Appreciate you, mate. Oh, trust me, like, I basically have no visitors in my fort because of how often stuff gets stolen. You can put any item on a display thingy, yes. So you could put a door on display if you wanted, but then it can just get stolen. I've always dreamed about being a religious figure. Did you want Adil? Oh, Adil's the only one available. So you wanted Adil? You want to be the Holy Tax? Chat, can I get a round of beers for 94 Tails? They don't have to be 94, though. And YouTube folks haven't done one of these in a while, so I'm just going to do a super chat goal. It's there because I've heard rumor through the internets that it helps the algo. Go burr. It is a super chat goal. You don't have to participate in it if you don't want to. It's just there. Bone Doll, I presume, is a very private person and always freely shares details of his life. Is not a private person and freely shares details of his life. He is generally unhindered by the thoughts of others concerning his actions, and he enjoys the company of others. What that means is he needs his 15th private jet. He is moved by art and natural beauty, and he is troubled by this since he dislikes the natural world. He is passive in discussions and has a tendency to consider ideas and abstractions over practical applications, so he makes shit up. And he isn't particularly curious about the world. His hands begin moving when he becomes exasperated, and he needs alcohol to get through the working day. He dreams of crafting a masterwork someday, and this dream was realized. Personally, he just as soon would have the great outdoors burned to ashes and turned into a great mining pit. He dislikes cooperation and finds romance distasteful. Likes rhyolite and lead and jade and glumprong wood and chartooth. Crosses, checks out, and doors. Horseshoe crabmen for their ability to hide in the sand. And the sight of the festive saffron and impossible prefers to consume. Radish plants. And sweet potato wine. Ooh. Interesting. Likes fonio flour, as well as peanuts, and absolutely hates cave spiders. This is the Holy Tax, my friends. The Holy Tax. Now let's check out his door, shall we? The door itself is worth 21,000 Dwarf buck. It is encrusted with round, brilliant cut milk opals and round conglomerate cabochons and cushioned limestone cabochons, and it is studded with steel. Studded with steel and decorated with turkey bone and encircled with bands of copper. This object menaces with spikes of peachwood and steel. On the item is an image of Endok Paddled Keys, the dwarf, and dwarves in ash. Endok Paddled Keys, the dwarf, Endok paddle keys is surrounded by the dwarfs. The artwork relates to the ascension of Endok paddle keys to the position of Countess of the Strategic Boots in 259. Well, thank you, 94 Tails. Thanks for swinging by. Also, hey, Doc Randall. It's good to see you, mate. You know, I've been getting that a lot more recently, and I wonder if it's just, like, I got used to, like, that point in history when people were mostly working from home. Or a large part of society that didn't normally work from home was working from home and or unemployed. Where a lot of people could just tune in because of, like, time zones and stuff. And that's slowly, like, ceased to be the case, right? Like, most people are back in the offices at this point. Or a lot of people are. Not everybody, but a lot of people are. And because of that, like, I think I kind of got a little bit, maybe not too used to it, but I did definitely get very used to a lot of people being around more who don't tune in anymore, and it makes me sad sometimes. Then I remember it's like, all right, they're all probably just like lurking on the YouTube channel, which actually I think is maybe the most common actual reality, is that most of those people are just still around, just not in the stream all the time, because that's not how real life works. What I'm saying is I miss you guys sometimes, so thanks for tuning in. Cheers, Doc. Your work night ends right before my streams usually? Gotcha. I mean, I was gonna say, when do you have like software on your computer that would make it difficult for you to just like sit there and watch a Twitch stream? Or like, do you have to remote into work or something? You probably do because of what you do, but like parsecing into work or something. I've always hated using those services. They feel so sluggish. Just getting these bedrooms a little bit more paved. But I'm not fully paving them just so that they can have some variety in their floor colorings. When you worked at Ubisoft, you had to remote connect to a PC. Had to remote connect to a PS4. Woof. My little sister talked about doing that when she was doing some QA stuff. It was just like horrendous delays all the time. Like that sucks, man. But you've not caught up on all the VODs yet? You know, I'm very like, okay, do you want to know why I archive VODs? I do it for me more than anything. Like, I do it publicly so that, like, because some people want to watch them. But truly, I have mostly been surprised at how many people actually watch my VODs over the years. Because, like, one of my biggest regrets about the early years of me doing this is I never archived anything. And I feel like it sucks because I can't go back and look at like how my stream has improved. So I don't have like that kind of, I guess, self-validation of like improving at something, which is like valuable when you work for yourself and have like zero actual motivators to work. Unless aside from like, you know, oh God, I need money. So it's nice to have like, be able to look back and like see that something is done well. So I have like outside of maybe like the forts that I make big videos out of, like I never really expect anybody to go back and watch the VODs. And sometimes I wonder if it's a good idea to actually post them publicly because of how often I have people saying, yeah, I can't watch because spoilers. It's like, what? Excuse me? But you know, different types of entertainment for different people, I suppose. Here's 7 hours in front of you, so you cannot watch the end on Twitch. No, that makes sense, Sporty. Like it's one of those like, I wonder if it hurts my. It's sort of like sometimes I wonder if streaming on YouTube's a good idea. Nothing against anybody on YouTube. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Because a stream on YouTube, a good day I'll make $10. Pre-taxes, so like 7. Actually, and that's in Canadian dollars, not US dollars, because ad revenue on YouTube streams is horrendous. And like if I had 30 more viewers on Twitch, I would make more in Twitch ad revenue alone already, maybe double that. Because ad revenue on Twitch is way better. And also on average, I make more dollars per subscription per viewer on Twitch by like a lot. And so sometimes I wonder like, is it worth streaming on YouTube? Because I sometimes feel like I hurt myself financially streaming on YouTube. And then it's like, but at the same time, like a ton of people who watch my stream realize that I'm live because I'm streaming on YouTube and they tune in on Twitch. Or like people realize that I stream in the first place because the fact that I'm streaming on YouTube, because the YouTube stream gets a lot more traffic and then they watch on the YouTube stream for a bit and then they start jumping back and forth and it helps the Twitch stream. So like, I don't know. It's one of those like, I never really have a direct way to quantify if something is a good idea or not. Your dogs are my main VOD viewers. I had someone tell me that their cat was trying to kill me in a VOD once, which I thought was kind of funny. What's up, Treeman Slim? Why does the stream feel so cozy? You know, I know that that's a rhetorical question, but like, I think it's because like if I were to have a theory as to why my stream feels cozy, it's because of how I run my chat and the fact that I don't have a lot of alerts. And that I don't, like, I'll get flustered if somebody goes apeshit in the chat and throws a bunch of money at me, but I very, very rarely, like, just start screaming, you know? Like, that's not something I really do. If that makes any sense. No, that's steel. I want that. Exactly what Inferno Toast said, so. I mean, Brian, in the YouTube chat, unless you just popped into the Twitch side of things. Like, I look at the YouTube chat. The reason the YouTube chat is on subscriber-only mode, which admittedly probably hurts the number of people we get chatting, is because the way YouTube works algorithmically, you get a lot of randoms, and getting up, like, 10 questions an hour of what game is this is not always the most engaging way to talk to an audience. So I deprioritize the YouTube chat because it's a smaller chat in general because of the subscriber requirement, and also because of the high amount of spam that happens on the YouTube side of things if it's not subscriber only. So I deprioritize it because it's quieter. But also because of the way the YouTube player works, where like you can jump around anywhere in the video while live, there's always a percentage of people that are watching on YouTube that are like an hour behind. Whether they realize it or not, they might be doing it intentionally, trying to catch up or whatever. But there is always going to be a percentage of people watching on YouTube that are not even watching the live feed. So when you take that into account and kind of realize that like a portion of the people watching at all times like aren't even watching live.
Madness.
Yeet. That sucks that the Dwarf had to see a dead body. Hobo, what up? Thanks for breaking the comfy vibes. How's things? I think that's just sim games, though. Spark of Death, you know? truck sims, like Roadcraft, Spin Tires, The Sims. I mean, heck, even RimWorld to a point. Kenshi. I think, like, just simulation slow-paced games like that that are very slow-paced I'll often have that vibe, in my opinion. This is just... The squad's gonna go train. You know what's funny, Bonesaw? I've been thinking about you a lot recently. Because Creed recently played a show in Vancouver, and I keep seeing, like, mid-30s dads wearing Creed t-shirts. So, that's all. I just wanted to share that. Do you actually like Creed, or do you just like Creed memes? Because I don't really like Creed, but I do enjoy a good Creed meme. It's like I don't really like Nickelback, but look at this photograph. You know what I mean? You like the singles. Like the single ladies that are at the Creed shows that are twice divorced? Or... Because that's like all you really get at a Nickelback show. Happy to help, Thunder Norse. Look at this graph. Exactly. Can we just pause for a moment and agree that Malachite is one of the best colors in this video game? Just period. I mean, fucking look at that. That's such a good color, man. You very much appreciate that this game did it justice. You know, it's kind of funny because, like, Risk of Rain makes me hate Malachite. Like, with an angry, burning passion. Dwarf Fortress makes me like Malachite because it's pretty. But Risk of Rain... that's the periodic, like, invulnerability power-up that they can get. Is... like, makes it awful, so. Malachite. No, you spelled it right. It's like Malachite with a CH. Yep, correct, Tobo. Malachite sucks in Risk of Rain. Malachite will leak copper, ion, and water and make it undrinkable. Correct, yes. Also, Marshmallow Shite is my, I don't know. I was gonna say, like, pop band, but that doesn't really sound like a pop band. Noise rock band, maybe? The Marshmallow Shite. Oopsies. Correct, yes. Kutogi, the color of oxidized copper. I really like buildings with oxidized copper roofs. They said that in the YouTube chat, for anybody who missed it. But I really like the color of oxidized copper roofs, like once they've been there for a while. They just look so cool. It's just such a pleasant color. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm building in a shortcut for my entryway so that I can just pull this lever and lock these two doors. So if we get attacked by a scary monster, I could lock these two doors and then give my dwarves more time to get in and then maybe lock it here again. With like the idea here being that, you know, when they need to go in and out, we can just be using this. I'm also going to make this a little bit more nice looking. It's a bit all over the place right now. I mean, green is a cool color because it means go. It would be a worse color if it meant stop. That's the red color. Unless you're a Ford F-150 driving in the bike lane, then it means go faster, which is terrifying when you're in the bike lane on a bike. Also, there's an ad break incoming, so when it hits, I will pause the game. True, it makes things go faster. Also, it means stop, which is ironic. I know this is like a question as old as Dwarf Fort, but what's your favorite material to build out of in Dwarf Fort? I think for me, it's either jet or malachite at this point. Although, I will mention that for me, at the very least, there are several runner-ups. I really, really, really like. I think it's the kind of red clay material that we have in the viewer fort, which I'm like blanking on the name of it right now. But I really like that material, and I also really like rock salt. Rock salt's pretty up there. Olivine, Cespertine. I find Olivine's a bit too. It's not bright enough. I wish Olivine was brighter. Yeah, right, because all the old photos of the Statue of Liberty before it was oxidized were in black and white, right? What, for the density Spork of Death? Some migrants have arrived, but the ads are about to start. Watchful Quake and your husband. Whoopsies. Is that your husband? Yep. Quite like the blue of Microclimb? Yeah, no, I agree with that, actually. Quartzite? Quartzite's a good one, actually. I would need to look at that handy-dandy grid colors thingy for Dwarf Fort. Hobo, how's things been? What you been up to, mate? How goes band practice? What you been, like, prepping for performances lately, if I can ask? So I'm not usually one to call out stream titles, but I do keep the directory for the game that I'm playing in when I'm streaming up, and I usually take a peek at it during ad breaks. And there's somebody streaming right now. Don't, like, be nice to this person if you go watch them. But the title of their stream is this a RimWorld killer? Exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point, question mark. And it's like, man, I feel like I'm in 2008 again. Is Haze the Halo killer? No. No, it isn't. That's not how video games work. But it's funny. Wait, you had a show on Friday? Ooh. I played pinball on Sunday. That was fun. What'd you play on Friday? Went to Daytona and saw Zoomies. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I saw the photo of that. How many times have you been to that? 90 alternative? Fun. You miss actual pinball machines? Was you a pinball wizard? I am not a pinball wizard, no. I did get 170 million on Getaway, which isn't great, but like, it put me in the top 400 on that machine's high scores. So I felt okay about that. For 50 cents a play, it's pretty good. Monster Madness was your favorite? I think for me, I'm sad because like my favorite they don't have my favorite pinball machine at the pinball place here. My favorite pinball machine is FIFA 94 because it's usually 10 cents a play, or like a quarter at most. And it's just a really fun table with a lot going on it. Disdains tradition, hates stoicism, temperate, frail, high stamina. Uh-huh. Are you brave? Let's bring you into the military. Go get him, Dwarf. But FIFA 94. It's just a really fun table that's very simple to understand, doesn't have a lot of bright colors or lights on it, and it's pretty, like, understated, but it's one of those tables where it's like, it's a good one, and there's never a line for it because it looks old and ragged usually. But yeah, FIFA World Championship 1994. Pinball. I also really like Getaway. No, that's not... Okay, so FIFA, the sports industry, has existed for a very long time, and so has pinball games. Now, FIFA 94 is a pinball machine from 1994 for FIFA 94, based on the property and license FIFA, not the video game. Zero relation to the EA sports game. It's pure, like, if I go look up a picture of it real quick. Like, this is FIFA World Cup 94. Yeah, I think this is the digital version. But like, it is a physical pinball table, completely unrelated to the video game. That's it. Completely unrelated. Completely unrelated. There's a lot of eBay listings for them, apparently. But it's great. It's a lot of fun. But you need to realize there's other things based on the very, very, very popular sport, football and FIFA, that are not related to EA games anything. Sure, but years happen completely with no relation to EA games at all. That's just how years work, but anyway. I digress. I'm being silly at this point. The F-18 one? Oh yeah, I like that one. I just like Williams tables in general. Because that's the year it came out and that's how licensing works? I mean, why would they name a video game based on the year? Because that's the way, how the licensing works. Like, you license the name for FIFA for that year. You don't... It's not just FIFA forever. Also, FIFA Forever is what they should have called their shitty mobile app version that nobody plays. Cyberpunk 2077, yeah. The spiral designs ended up looking super dapper, you say? I think it looks pretty nice. Oh, Jesus. One of my war dogs horribly murdered... I presume it was my war dog? There's now a dead Kia. Here. So good for us. It was trying to steal my logs. This Kia had logs in their inventory. And then the dogs murdered it to death. So good on the dogs, like. I'm also going to do something. I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to put a pillar there. And I'm going to go along here, and I'm going to go cage trap. Oh, I'm just going to go cage traps all the way along here. I need to do 10 rock mechanisms, I think. Let's just make it out of a material I've got lots of. So, chart. It's called World Cup Soccer for 94, is it not? Series came out in 1993. I mean, okay, you're probably correct. But the table was listed as FIFA World Cup Soccer in the directory of where to find it in the Pinball Museum. So that's just what I call it. FIFA 95 came out in 94. That's what I'm thinking of then. It's also been several years since I've played it. Also, but you're probably right. I don't know. It's based on the FIFA World Cup for around that year. Oh, you're looking at BA games. Oh, okay. Isn't it NHL 94? Is NHL 94 the beloved arcadey sports game? Because we might also be conflating it with that. We might also be conflating it with that. I know I confuse those games all the time. I don't think there was a Mario game in 1963. Or is this because it's 64, right? Okay, so you're connected to these two, this and that. Yeah, I think I just need a cage trap like right here. And we're just gonna catch a shit ton of Kia. No, that is true. I know pretty little about those hockey. Like, when we're actually talking about EA games, I know pretty little about them. I just know that there's one from the mid-90s that people really like, so... That was, like, before they became all simmy, and were still, like, arcadey. So it's chirp floor. Now would be a really bad time for, like, a monster to attack me. Or a Kia to get into Mortal Kombat with us. Did you steal something, Mr. Kia? I swear. Nope, there you go. I should really just cage trap and breed Kia. Like, that's what we should do. We should just name them after, like, you know, the, like, Kia brand cars. All right, all the way up to there. Get that dropped in. And go down here, and then go cage trap. And then I'll just sneak them in along here so that traders can go by no problem. Thanks to 94 Tails for throwing some bits into a combo. Because that's a thing that happens. If you have pennies worth of bits and you throw it into there, things will spam everywhere and it'll be obnoxious. And most people hate it. But, I don't know, I get pennies, so I'll take it. Thank you. Well, I'd need giant Kias to be able to breed giant Kias. This is a calm map, so I don't think we're going to get any giant Kias. Actually, I think it's wilderness. It's wilderness or calm. Regardless, it's not a higher difficulty map in the slightest. It's very much a lower difficulty map. Imagine if they kept numbering Mario games like Final Fantasy games, which reminds me of the Deus Ex. I mean, I honestly don't think that Mario game numbers would be that high up. The one that always like throws me off is Dynasty Warriors. Actually, it's like, wow, they've made a lot of those. It's like Dynasty Warriors and the Dynasty Warriors spinoffs. And what's it called? The like Romance of the Three Kingdoms games. Those like strategy games. Those always throw me off as well. And thanks for the bits, guys. Appreciate you. Just picking it up and zooming away. I mean, okay, so something I've always wanted to see. I've always wanted to see a Kia try and steal a Kia in a cage trap. That is something that I'm sad to say that I've never witnessed. And I would like to witness that in this video game because I think that would be very funny. Yeah, it's like it's Kiaception, exactly. It's like it's a Kia trying to steal a Kia from a Kia. I would love to see that. Because I think that would just be so fucking funny. Could be like he's trying to like rescue his friend or whatever. I will save you! Exactly. Something something meatballs, square doodad. You know, IKEA is my favorite Apple product. Exactly. Unemployed Shaku gets it. Oh shit, I'm doing these out of the wrong material. This should be limestone. Whoops. I mean, I don't think the IKEA boys are, you know, stealing cars, but they're just building cheap flat pack furniture. Wait, really? Mind? I mean, so did everybody in regards to making iPod knockoffs, but I had no idea. I still can't get over that bicycle that IKEA tried to sell for a minute there. With a, what, a parrot? Okay, so somebody needs to get a video of a Kia disassembling IKEA furniture in reverse so that it looks like it's building the furniture. And that should be like the marketing for that, whatever that is. The IKEA. The IKEA Kia. Ay, ay, ay. Speaking of, I will be back in a moment. I'm going to go open up a window because the construction's gotten quiet outside and it's kind of warm in here. So I will be right back. All right. All 5 of the windows that can be open are now open. Drinking coffee at midnight? Ooh. Seems brave. I can't even do that anymore. You're going on an adventure? Well, you're following a child with a wheelbarrow, so yeah, it's basically an adventure. All right, so. Can I put a door there? No, I can't. I'll figure out something to do there. Well, it would be impossible for a Forgotten Beast to be getting in because there isn't any access to the caverns on this map right now. So, you could tell me that, but I'd be like, ah, sure, yes, I definitely believe you, yes. But I don't actually, so. So there's an aquifer over here. I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna go dig into it. There's suddenly just backup signals after I open all the windows. It's like following a cat, Dark Lord Ivy. Reverse animal gifts are kind of popular, so I'd be curious. I mean, my favorite animal thing on the internet was that period of time where that one lady kept making videos that kept going viral of her holding up a microphone and interviewing random birds. It's just like asking them about current events and shit and doing fake man on the street kind of interviews, but it's just like she's interviewing like a wild turkey in like an animal refuge. So some of my favorite things on the internet, just period. No, I'm gonna make a well is actually what I'm doing. So what I need to do is I need to actually get it to about here. I'm gonna make a pretty big reservoir out of this, actually. That should be a decent-ish spot. Question is, where do I want to put my hospital? I could actually just put it up here. Can I put it like right there? Maybe like right here. Nope. No, that's not gonna work. How about... Well, that could work. Although then I'm just like putting a hole in the back wall of this dwarf's apartment. Why don't I put it like right here? Goes all the way down to there. And you goes all the way down to there. And then I will just dig out this whole fucking thing and it'll slowly fill up with water. And now I just have to hope it doesn't freeze in the winter. And if it does, well, shit. The cat is sparring? Yeah, they do that sometimes. They do that. I feel like I've sparred with almost every pet cat I've tried to pet, so... Very accurate. Soul Player, hello. Although I am going to, I think, probably forbid some chunks of these. And then I'll dig a trench to right where this is, so that it all collects and goes there. She jumps on your desk and lies down on your mouse pad and demands a sparring session. Checks out. Yep, sounds like a cat. Normal cat activity. Can confirm that is in fact probably a cat that you're talking about. Also, hello, B-Lug. Sorry, turkeys. I have to move your nest boxes. How are you doing today, B-Lug? Thanks for the 55th month. Welcome back, dude. Huh. There's missing assets when nest boxes are deconstructed. I wonder why that is. I haven't seen a missing asset in a minute. Check, can I get a round of beers for the 55th month of Prime from B-Lug? In your fort? Yeah, it must just be like a game-wide thing. It's probably already been reported, but technically a bug, but thankfully not a huge deal. Just a little funny. Let's also butcher a bunch more turkeys. Except let's erase this. Oopsies. Okay, let's follow this down. Not bad. Slow and steady wins the Dwarf. Oh. Probably prioritize this higher. Okay, well that's a malachite ore mine, so I should probably mine that out. Small C? Not really. I'm just making a well reservoir. Wouldn't call it a small C necessarily. But no, I'm making a reservoir, like a water tank, basically, to power a well. That's all I'm doing. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, no, but no, I wouldn't call this a sea or anything. I'm just it's just a place to store water, you know, like a water tank. Giant figurative water bottle, you know, stuff like that. I think what I'm going to need to do yeah, I don't actually care all that much. Is I'm just going to jump to normal digging. Just do a little stair up around here. And you're going to be sealed off. And this will require quite a bit of extra digging to make this into a functional reservoir, but we're going to get to it. Puddle, sure, certainly. That's something you could describe this as. I don't know if I would personally, but... And we also found more malachite out here, which is lovely. There's also just like a shit ton of malachite down here, so we will mine out as much of that as I can. The problem is they're doing it all at a very high priority, so let's set this all down to 4. Whoops, that's not the tool I wanted. Let's set this all down to a much lower priority, so that they go and mine out my well instead, which is much more useful in what I actually need them doing right now, and not mining out all of this ore.
Thanks for all the streams.
No problem. Daza, appreciate you. If you search by most viewed videos, I have a full Let's Play as well as a 30-minute getting started guide. Like, I can explain what I do in streams, but I feel like it kind of doesn't lead to the best style of stream then, because then people tune in to learn how to play and then they leave. So, like, tutorial streams are a bit redundant, in my opinion, but if you run into problems or need help, do let me know. I can help. But I do have plenty of like tutorial content on the YouTube side of things. This is true. Well, I mean, the dwarves don't care. It's just more effective for like being able to escape shitty situations or problems. Are you in an ad? Yeah, well then. It happens. Malachite is toxic, yes. Or malachite dust is toxic, correct. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they can hear me yet. Hey, chat, can we just get a round of beers for that, like, Prime sub, please? When someone resubs, you have one job, and that's post beers. I will not answer questions from non-subs until the ads are done, so. You need to remember that, I am more aware of when ads are happening than most of chat, so.